Hello, are we there? Yeah, we are here. Hello, everyone.
All right.
Well, welcome to episode 34 of the Dorks Next Door. Not the Nerd Crew. I almost said Nerd Crew. The Dorks Next Door podcast. I am your man, Andy Orr. Thank you guys so much for joining us and listening to us, whether it's on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, if you're listening to the audio version, or if you join us every Tuesday at 6 or 7 p.m. Central Standard Time as we live stream our episode. Thank you guys for joining us there. We've got a big episode this week. We are still feeling the effects of Avengers Endgame. We are still crying and depressed, but also happy at the same time, which we'll get into all of that here pretty soon. But before we jump I'm having a stroke again already off the bat. Before we jump into anything else, let me introduce you my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, Jason Lee. Jason, how are you doing this week?
I am doing pretty good. I finally bought a full bottle of caffeine so I don't have to steal yours, which is good, so I can make it through the podcast this time. Last time with our Avengers podcast, I was kind of like trailing off towards the end, and I was like, boy, I'm really feeling the effects of the 4 hour.
Well, we hit like the 2.5 hour. I was good till we hit like the 2.5 hour.
Yeah.
Then when we hit 2.5 hours, I was like, oh Lord, this is starting to feel. But we're like a fourth of the way into the movie.
Our guest Nico had so much energy.
Yes, Nico saved us
because we were both falling asleep.
We were. It was getting a little rough. So I'll let you introduce our special guest with us. We're 2 guests in 2 weeks. We're on a roll.
Yeah.
We're on a roll.
And I've never met him before.
I kind of walked in.
Yeah.
I came for the Coca-Cola.
The audition went great.
We'll call you back.
And we were like, you know what? This is talent. Mm-hmm. And we got to have you on the show. This is my brother, Jaron, and we're not twins. We're about 2 years apart.
I'm older.
Combined, they're like 24 feet tall, so it's all good.
Yeah, exactly. We're pretty much the same person, except for he likes The Last Jedi and I don't. And that's the only and also our hair. And he wears a hat.
So he's smart.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Wrong.
Speaking of me being smart, I couldn't find where to plug this in.
Help you.
Yeah. Oh wow, there it is. Nice. This all plays into me being smart. It's character.
There we go.
It's character development. Nice. Cool.
Well, we've got a lot that we're going to dive into, a lot we're going to talk about. There's a Far From Home trailer that we're going to talk about that has a crap ton to do, apparently, with the future of the MCU. We're going to talk a little bit about Endgame. We're going to get his thoughts on Endgame. We're going to talk spoilers. Listen, it's been 2 weeks. We're not going to put the spoiler warning up. If you haven't seen it yet, then you're out of luck.
Yeah, because the Russos lifted the
spoiler ban.
The spoiler ban, so we are all we're in the clear.
Even trailers for Endgame are using shots from the final battle of Endgame at this point.
I got the alert today that they sent out the they're the number one box office in the world or whatever. They're just they showed Cap saying Avengers Assemble. They showed him with Mjolnir, and I was like, oh okay.
They showed Fat Thor. I think at this point they assume that all the people who actually care have seen it, and now they're just pulling in the Transformers audience.
Yeah, they're like, oh, that's kind of cool. We're going to go jump in and see it now.
Yeah.
We're going to get his thoughts on Endgame. We are going to discuss a lot of MCU. I cannot talk today. MCU news that has come out this week about Phase 4 and beyond. Some other stuff that's in the pipeline. Some Disney stuff that came out today, specifically through movies and Star Wars and Avatar, things like that. We're going to dive into everything that you can think of and probably some more stuff. So join with us, ride along with us. It's going to be a lot of fun. But before we do anything else, before we go anywhere else, we are going to pick back up with our segment of what we are into this week. So we will start with our left. So Jason, I'll put you on the spotlight.
I am ready this time.
You're ready this time. All right.
For the first time in a very long time, I came prepared because I've started Agent Carter, which I'm watching on Hulu, because I want to be the guy that knows all of the MCU stuff.
Yeah.
Because I already know so much about the movies and I talk about the movies so much with people, but I want to be the guy who's seen it all and has full perspective on everything. So I still have a few things left to watch. I have to finish Iron Fist Season 2, which is going to be a struggle.
Good luck.
I have to finish Punisher Season 2.
Good luck.
I have to watch Inhumans.
Oh, yeah.
God help me.
Even gooder luck.
Both seasons of Cloak and Dagger, both seasons of Runaways, and both seasons of Agent Carter. And then I'm good. At least until the next thing comes out.
WandaVision and Loki and
until Jessica
Hellstrom
Jones.
and Ghost Rider.
I forgot. We still get Jessica Jones. It comes out in like what? June?
There's another season coming out.
I think it comes out end of June. I think it's like they said June some point.
I didn't know I thought they were just done with Marvel Netflix.
No, they already greenlighted season 3 for Jessica Jones.
Oh, nice.
They already finished it, but like they as soon as they're like, yeah, we're releasing it. By the way, this is your last one ever, so good luck with it.
Nice.
Which means it's probably going to end on like a cliffhanger, and then like nothing's going to happen with it afterwards.
I'm super excited because that's just like one of my favorite shows and one of my favorite characters in the whole franchise. Like even though season 2. I like season 2 a lot better than other people do, but it still wasn't anywhere close to season 1. So I'm hoping they really like
season 1. Listen, season 1 was ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
Kilgrave is one of my if we did a top 5 like villains list, Kilgrave would probably be in my top 5 because he was absolutely amazing as a villain.
Coincidentally, the episode where he comes back in season 2
is the best episode. Yeah.
But like Daredevil, season 1 was incredible. Season 2, not so much. Season 3 was even better than 1. So I'm hoping if Jessica Jones keeps up that pattern, that would be.
But like even awesome. Daredevil season 2 was like it's not that great. Like it's not as good as season 1, but it's better than all the other ones. So it works out pretty well.
It's not an Age of Ultron.
No,
we'll say that.
No, it's not. It's not that bad. So that's what you're into, Agent Carter.
Yeah.
You're like what, 1 episode in?
Yeah,
are you enjoying the episode? Did you enjoy the episode?
I did, and I have something to say in this segment, so that's an achievement, I think.
Yes, that is big time achievement. What are you into this week?
Let's see. There are a few things. I'm gonna focus on one, but I started watching my first anime like ever. I'm into a lot of things, but I'm not really into anime at all. So I started watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and I'm like 10 episodes in. They're really short episodes, so it's not that hard to just kind of chug along, and I really like it so far. But the main thing I've been into is Marvel Legendary. It's like a deck building card game with like a lot of expansions with a lot of popular and obscure Marvel heroes from all different eras, all different teams. They even have like all the X-Men and Fox stuff in there, and they have some sets based on the MCU with like pictures from the movies and stuff. So they have everything from every comic and whatever. So I've been buying a few expansions for that. That's what I've been into.
Are we able to turn him up anymore also? I wanted to ask. I'm like trying to push my headphones in.
Well, he's not. We're not going to hear him through these.
Oh,
because he's not connected.
Never mind.
But
I was like,
I did have to turn him up anyway.
I can't hear him at all.
I'll have to listen to the stream and see how he sounds in a second. But yeah, we'll get it going. What's it called again?
Marvel Legendary.
Marvel. I have to look.
Yeah, I got. There are still a lot of expansions for me to get. Yeah. But I've been buying them at a fairly steady pace. Just recently, I got the Secret Wars Volume 1, and it has a lot of like popular characters that aren't in the other ones, like Doctor Strange, and you get Black Panther in that one, and Captain Marvel, but it has a lot of really obscure ones too. Mm-hmm. And in the Secret Wars Volume 2, for instance, they have a whole hero in it called the Devil and the Dinosaur, and it's Captain America riding the Captain and the Devil. That was it. It's Captain America riding Devil Dinosaur. He has an axe and a beard. And that's the character.
That is amazing.
Yeah, so I got Secret Wars Volume 1, and next I'm getting Captain America expansion. You get some of the classic art from the 40s.
Oh, wow.
In it. So,
that's dope. That's really cool.
I can confirm that he never stops talking about it.
Yeah, oh yeah, so
that
I'm going to have to look into it.
It's good.
I'm definitely going to have to look into it. What I'm into this week is for the same thing for like the last 3 weeks until it's finally over. But Game of Thrones Episode 4 came out Sunday. Much better than Season 3 because I could finally see some stuff. I could actually see what was going on. They're setting up what's going to happen in like the last 2 episodes. But it was more of a normal Game of Thrones episode where like you had no idea what was going to happen. And then like, I'm not going to spoil it, but like something does happen at the very end that like everybody freaks out over, which is really, really cool. They did forget to take Starbucks off the set, but that's all right.
Everyone's been talking about it.
Everybody's been mad about it. I'm like, it's not like that big of a deal.
I heard that on the radio show like 2 mornings ago, and I was like, I gotta look that up. And then I go on Facebook and like I have like 8 different friends who are like, look at this Starbucks cup.
It's not that
there are things like that everywhere. I mean, they have like Gandalf has like a watch on in Lord of the Rings in some scenes.
It's just like the one thing you're not like, and the MCU is like we've talked about it several times. Like the end credit scene for the first Avengers movie when Thanos gets up, it's a human hand.
Yeah.
Like, it's a human hand that pushes up. It's like, that's like the one thing you would think they would not mess up.
Or like,
messed up his human hand.
Or like, I mean, this has really turned into a good thing for the movie, but it wasn't supposed to be there in the first Avengers. Tony's eating blueberries in that one scene.
Yeah,
he was supposed to be eating blueberries. He like snuck those on set. He was actually offering them to the actors, and they accepted them. They accepted them in character. So
that's
kept
awesome.
it in. Yeah,
that is awesome. So yeah, that's not that big of a deal, but it's getting very, very interesting very soon. The next 2 episodes are going to be crazy, so it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited to see where the show goes from here. So, all right, you guys ready to talk about a crap ton of MCU stuff today?
Yes, always.
DC hasn't done nothing for like the last since Shazam, so they're kind of taking a break. I think they realize that like the next 2 months or 3 months are going to be straight up MCU. So they're just we're going to take a step back.
I think it's smart for them also, not just because of Avengers Endgame to take a bit of a PR break, but also they kind of are, for the first time ever, taking a PR break on a high note. Because Shazam was fairly good, and I think them taking a PR break and kind of being in a good spot in the back of people's minds during this whole MCU craze is a very good thing for them.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The next movie we get from them is Wonder Woman?
I think it's
I want
Wonder
to say
Woman.
it's Birds of Prey, but it might be Wonder Woman. Let me look.
Well, I mean,
I'd be surprised if it's Birds
movie.
of Prey.
You get the Joker movie,
Yeah,
but
Joker movie, but that's
not DCEU or
that's
World
not
of DC,
canon.
whatever the heck they call it.
Still, I'm fairly interested in seeing what the Joker movie is going to be.
I'm excited for it.
about.
I'm very excited for it.
I don't know if I'm full blown
and then Wonder
excited
Woman.
yet, but
Birds of Prey and then Wonder Woman.
Okay.
I feel like I need to see a bit more for me to be excited because I don't know what kind of they're going for with this take, but I'm definitely intrigued.
Yeah, I think it'll be.
You know.
I mean, no. I'll say this: it's not going to be Heath Ledger because it's not the same style of Heath Ledger.
Yeah,
like that. I get the argument of like Heath Ledger's the best Joker of all time. Blah blah blah. Like, I get the argument, but you have to look like Jack Nicklaus's Joker and
Mark
Hamill's Joker, and I just said his name and I completely forgot.
Jared Leto.
There we go. No, not Jared Leto. Heath Ledger, thank you. I completely forgot his name for it, like half a second, even though I just said it.
Yeah.
But like all 3 forms of those Jokers are like completely different. So like you have to take in a different account. Jared Leto, he never played Joker. I don't remember that. I don't remember him playing Joker.
He never played. He played a guy with a bad skincare problem. Who lost all of his T-shirts.
Yeah.
He just lost every single T-shirt that he had in his collection.
It was not good.
And one day he fell asleep in a tattoo parlor, and they just thought he was. They just thought he was a continuing customer.
That was rough.
Yeah, very rough.
But yeah, so DC's on a good up and up. They're on their way up, so it's very exciting to see what they're going to do. From what we've seen of Birds of Prey, it doesn't look too bad. It's very exciting. So we're going to see what.
And I think Margot Robbie. Is one of the few actors from Suicide Squad that I would be very excited to see with a better script.
They're basing the entire universe around her.
Exactly. But I mean, I think that's fair to do because she, while she didn't do well in Suicide Squad, I feel like unlike the other characters, it was less of her fault and more of just the script's fault.
Yeah.
You know, I could never see Will Smith as Deadshot in any other. I could never see that. We didn't see enough of Captain Boomerang for me to make a decision either way there. But, I mean, at the end of the day, Margot Robbie works the best out of any of the cast by far, especially with the 2 big bad ones of Jared Leto and Will Smith.
And, like, she even looks like Harley Quinn.
Oh,
she plays Harley
100%.
Quinn perfectly. So I think that, I don't know if it's smart to, like, focus just on her, but I think they've got something good. They've got something good going with her. They got something good with Shazam.
Mm-hmm.
Aquaman is fine. Like, he's fine. He's just fine. That's all he is.
He's like, I would say Ant-Man and the Wasp level, but Ant-Man's more charming. He's like just Wasp level. Like,
I think he's not that. I mean, I think she's better than he was.
Part of it is, yeah.
I think he's more like Wong level of like, yeah, he's cool, but like,
yeah. There you go. Do we need a whole movie?
Like, I mean, I didn't mind the first movie, but I don't want to see the trench. I can tell you that. Don't put the trench in there. All right, so where are we going to talk about first? There's a lot to talk about.
I mean, there's always the trench.
We'll start with the since we'll talk about bad movies. We'll start with the Disney movies coming up pretty soon, which they're not all bad, but good lord,
some of them are
some are rough. rough. So I already know what's coming out this year.
Let's just skim through the list.
Yes, next year we're getting at least 2 MCU movies.
Okay.
The new Mutants.
Which next year the 2 MCU movies are likely going to be Black Widow and the Eternals.
Yep.
But Kevin Feige said that he's going to announce probably not as much as he announced back in 2014. Because back in 2014,
he just threw it all out there.
2014 was a different time.
Age of Ultron hadn't even come out yet, and he announced everything all the way up to Endgame. And they had to move some stuff around. They didn't know they were going to have Spider-Man, and they thought they were going to do Inhumans, and that didn't really pan out. But he did announce everything up to Endgame and all the release dates. It's not going to be that many different things, but he's going to start announcing things during this summer. After
I think they said that they're going to do it at San Diego Comic-Con again, which is where they always do it. Because he was even like, yeah, we're going to tell you guys what we're going to do, but it's you have to wait till next year. So they're going to tell us pretty soon.
Poor New Mutants. What a tragedy.
Just kill it. Don't even play it at this point. Because it was supposed to come out last year? Originally, and now it's been bumped back 2 years. At this point, I don't want to see it at all. I didn't want to see it in the first place.
I see the point in releasing a movie anyway that's already made, just to get some money back. But still, at the end of the day, with the brand synergy that you want going on with Marvel, and with the name that you want to convey with that brand under the Disney license, I can see why they wouldn't want to. But I mean, I understand that they are. But honestly, if I was working at Disney and I wanted to build up that really trustworthy brand name for Marvel, then not play it.
Unless it's good.
Unless it's good.
They're just fine-tuning it.
But even if it is good, I don't think it's the tone that they're currently going for, or the one that they would want to even when they reboot the X-Men in a few years.
Exactly.
Especially since they just had the merger and people are making such a big deal out of, this is going to be Marvel's next big thing, but you still have this other... It doesn't matter if it's good or not, which right now it's X-Men are not good, but...
You're not excited for Dark Phoenix?
Haven't been good for a...
We've talked extensively about Dark Phoenix, but they've just got this new thing in and everyone's talking about it as the next big thing, but you've still got the last big thing still kind of...
You have to get it out of the way.
Rolling very slowly in its last days.
We're not going to see the X-Men in the MCU for at least 5 to 6 years, if not longer.
It's going to be.
We'll see Fantastic Four before we see the X-Men,
and I'm glad about that. I feel like Fantastic Four deserve it at this point. It's just with stuff that is such a big failure, like the Dark Universe and stuff like that. It just dies very quickly. It's like a chopping block. It's so sad and really excruciating to watch X-Men be dragging itself across the ground. It's slowly, agonizingly dying.
They had a run of 3, unless Apocalypse was somewhere in the middle of this, and then that one, I don't even remember that movie. That one didn't count. But they had Deadpool, and they had Logan, and then they had Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was Apocalypse in the middle of that?
It was can I remember this? Days of Future Past was 2014, which was awesome. Deadpool was 2015. Apocalypse was 2016. Logan was 2017. And then Deadpool 2 was last year.
Okay. So
Apocalypse is 2016?
Mm-hmm. So excluding Apocalypse, they had 4 good movies in a row. They had they had a run of 4 really good movies. Of Logan is one of my favorite superhero movies of all time. It's super emotional. It's the perfect way to end off his character. Deadpool 1 and 2 are hilarious. They're funny. They're good. They're action-packed. Ryan Reynolds is freaking amazing. And then Days of Future Past was really, really good. And then Apocalypse was just Apocalypse.
And arguably, at least in my opinion, the one in that lineup that you need to be good the most for X-Men to live on is Apocalypse. Yeah. Because it includes the most characters.
Right.
It has the most writing on it on terms of people's public perception of X-Men, because at the end of the day, they had all these good movies coming out, but people's perception of X-Men is still super poor just because of Apocalypse.
Right.
And also the trailers for Dark Phoenix looking like a mix between the Disney Channel and a My Chemical Romance video.
It's like that awkward point in the MCU where you had Ultron surrounded by Guardians and Ant-Man, which were both better movies, and it's the 2 most random movies that nobody thought would succeed are better than which it's not obviously as bad as
at least Ultron isn't everything they've built will fall.
Right.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it's kind of close. I mean, Ultron's like, I'm gonna drop a city on a city and destroy everything. So it's kind of the same thing.
Well, I mean, yeah, on paper, but I mean, at the end of the day, Ultron had
at least Kevin Spacey did the best he could. Let's just say that.
James Spader.
James Spader. Why did I say Kevin Spacey?
Kevin Spacey.
They look eerily the same.
Kevin Spacey could have done a lot better.
Kevin Spacey could.
We'll say that.
Just in general, life choices.
Right. But yeah, no, James Spader.
James Spader was really good.
He did the best he could with
the voice was great.
Yeah, and he was really good at doing like the creepy
and there were some moments in Ultron like that opening party scene that are just
everything was great until after the everything was great until Hulk and Natasha showed up in the same bedroom, and then it just quickly went downhill from there. But we beat that to the ground several times. All right, so in 2020 we're getting 2 MCU movies. One is coming out in June 1st, and another one's coming out in November, which is probably Internals.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We are getting New Mutants, obviously, in April, unless it gets pushed back again. See if there's anything really important other than that. We're getting another Disney animated movie. We're getting a Cruella movie. Yay!
No.
And then in 2021, we're getting a Marvel movie in February. We are getting a Marvel movie in June. And then we're getting another one in November.
Now, any one of those could be Black Panther 2.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
I would assume that
maybe Nova. Yeah.
Because rumor says that they've started development on the Nova movie. Mm-hmm. So that could possibly come out in 2021. But if it does, it would probably be the one that comes out in November. If anything else.
I'm assuming that they're going to be wanting to do, at least for that year, the way it's looking, 2 sequels and 1 new property.
Yeah.
And based on what we've been hearing, I can only see the new property as Shang-Chi. It might be Nova, but
they're probably putting
I'm thinking
it's
most likely. Yeah, I'm thinking it's most likely Shang-Chi.
But I think we're probably going to get like Black Panther 2 and then probably Doctor Strange 2.
And I really think that
Shang-Chi, I don't think they're going to do Guardians 3 till probably 2022.
They're going to wait a long time for Guardians 3. Yeah. It's going to hurt, but they're going to wait a while. Especially with James Gunn working on the Suicide Squad soft reboot.
Which will be good because James Gunn is doing it. But other than that, it'll. Whew. In 2021, we are getting an untitled Indiana Jones movie because, good lord, they couldn't let it die after the Crystal Skull movie.
So, who would they even get?
Probably Shia LaBeouf again. Why not? Just go for it. Yeah. And then in December of 2021, we're getting the very anticipated, pushed back even farther, Avatar 2 movie. Because everybody wants that movie.
My favorite franchise. No confirmation this is going to happen, but just based off multiple people's predictions and my hopes and dreams, I can't wait for that movie to make an at best amount of money or worse.
The only reason why it did so good the first time was because it came out in 3D. Everybody's like, let's go watch this movie in 3D.
No, that was absolutely it.
And yes, person in chat, yes, they're making a movie in the vein of Maleficent that's about Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians. So Disney live action is just wonderful and whimsical,
Jungle Book was good. I like it.
Jungle Book was good because they changed a lot of it. At least it's a new story.
Yeah.
The thing about Avatar 2 and the reason why it's kind of a joke is that nobody remembers Avatar. Like, everyone went to go see it and nobody remembers it, and nobody has any investment in the Avatar,
the last time I seen it was maybe 7 years ago, and I just had it on to have it on. Because I went and saw it. And I remember I absolutely hated that movie with a passion. I thought it was the most overrated piece of crap I'd ever seen in my life. And so I'm not excited. The only thing they did better, the only good thing about it was, the people actually looked kind of cool. The blue, I don't even remember what they were called.
The Na'vi, I think.
Thank you. They looked all right. They looked better than Will Smith did, as Blue. But
that's so true, but also weird.
It's weird because it's
so many years later. Yeah,
to be able to fix that by now.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think this movie has. It won't do that great. I can promise. It'll do okay, opening weekend, because everyone's like, "Hey, let's go see the Avatar movie, see what it's like." But I don't think it's going to do anything after that.
No, and the thing is, the only and I talked with my dad about this because he saw it opening nights and stuff. I was a bit too young and not invested to watch it, and he saw it like opening night and stuff, and the only things that he remembers are some of the stuff that was like in the trailers and like the big action set piece shots. I asked him to name one character, and he couldn't, for good reason, because the characters from the Avatar universe are not memorable in any way, and like the only thing that people remember is big tree, blue people, a lot of CGI. So the funny thing is if you look at the titles that James Cameron released for all these movies and stuff, he very much wants to tell us, like the titles are something like The Secrets of the Mist or something, like, you know, and On the Road for Elwyn or some other mystical name.
Hang on, let me look up the epic titles for the Avatar sequel.
And
it can't be better than WandaVision.
He wants to tell this like grand tale in the world of Avatar. Nobody's here for that. If they're going to make an Avatar movie and they want it to make money, at least in my opinion, the only thing you got to do is transformer it. Like, just make it a CGI.
Bring in the robots. Just bring in the robots.
Yeah, 100%. More robots.
So here are the titles for Avatar 2, 3, 4, and 5, which are all...
They're doing 5?
Yeah, if you look down on the list...
Holy crap, I didn't even know.
No, they have it planned up until like 2027 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, so Avatar 2, The Way of Water.
The Way of Water, that was it.
Avatar, The Seed Bearer.
Yikes.
The what?
The Seed Bearer.
Like sea or seed?
Seed. Avatar, The Tolkien Rider. And Avatar, The Quest for Awa.
And The Quest for Awa.
EYWA.
The grand irony in all of this Avatar stuff is James Cameron's latest comments, which pissed a lot of people off a few months ago when he said them. I don't really care about it. I just find it like really ironic and really funny. But what he said was that he hopes that Avenger fatigue sets in pretty soon so that we can have new things on the market.
Yeah.
It's not going to.
When he's planning 4 sequels to Avatar.
Yeah.
Which no one has any investment in whatsoever.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm not like, wow, I can't believe James Cameron would insult me.
Because at the end of the day,
bad.
James Cameron is a good filmmaker. There's a reason that he's made so many high-grossing movies.
Right.
But also, if there's going to be a movie that he has made that captures the emotions of the audience enough to warrant a sequel, it won't be Avatar.
It's not Avatar.
No, it's not Avatar.
And he complains about MCU stuff and I'm not angry about his comments. Like, I get if people don't like superhero movies, you know, whatever. But like, he talks about all this MCU stuff and how he hopes that the fatigue is going to happen soon. When through these Avatar movies, he works for Disney. Like, and B, he's doing the exact same thing, but worse, because it's a thing that nobody cares about, and it's a thing with...
And he's waited, what? When did the first Avatar come out? Was it 10?
2009.
Yeah.
So 10 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a thing that's his own flimsy brainchild, and he's planning it all out until like 2027 with like 4 or 5 scripts in line.
Avatar fatigue set in after the first movie.
Avatar
got lucky because it came out right at the time in 3D, and it's a beautifully shot movie.
Yeah.
Like, especially in 3D, it's a beautifully shot movie.
Right.
So, like, of course, people are going to be like, hey, let's go see this movie in 3D because it's 3D. That's really, really cool.
I think...
If it came out, like, 2 years before that, I think, personally, it would barely make over $1 million.
I think $1 that...
Not $1 million. It'd make more than $1 million, but...
Yeah. If James Cameron actually wants these sequels to make money, what he'll do is he'll introduce 4D and then for the sequel, and then 5D, and then 60, and then 70, and that's that's the only reason it made money, because Avatar fatigue set in quickly. The moment that the audience walks out of the theater, throws away their bucket of popcorn, and goes, "Oh yeah, that was cool."
Yeah,
that's like because it's fine, it's cool, but nobody goes home wanting a Na'vi headband, you know.
No, we do not. Okay, so 2022, we are getting 3 Marvel movies in February, June, and November. No, not November.
Which makes me wonder, since they've set out all of these dates, how many Feige is going to announce this summer.
Right.
Because I'd really like to hear about as much as we can.
No, I'm sorry. It comes out in May. I don't know my dates by number, or my months by numbers. No.
Thank you.
It comes out February, and then it comes out in May, and then we get one that comes out in July. So 3 kind of quick, like back to back to back.
Well, that's how they've done 2018 and 2019.
Yeah. And then in 2022, we get another Star Wars movie, which is untitled. We get several...
Which is a huge gap after Rise of Skywalker.
Which is good.
Which I really like.
Take the break.
I am glad.
Go home, sleep it off for a little bit, take the break.
And I feel like if Episode 9 ends on a good note, everybody's just going to be on such emotional high, and just like we were talking about with Shazam, but to a much greater extent, they're going to have a huge positive public perception and a lot of time for people to sit on it and chill out from talking about The Last Jedi, because that movie came out 2 years ago.
I think that...
let the past die, kill it if you have to.
I think trying to crank out a Star Wars movie every year is part of what made this fatigue set in so quickly for like Solo.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, because people were like lukewarm on Rogue One, very lukewarm on Last Jedi, very like one way or the other. And then with Solo, it's like nobody just cared enough to go see it. A, because they released it in like May or something.
It was a really weird release date.
Super odd, but
Star Wars are not
it's
summer
just
movies.
They were cranking them out too fast, and Star Wars isn't Marvel. They just fundamentally work different.
Plus, let's be real honest, it didn't matter when Solo came out. That movie wasn't going to do good anyway.
Right, it just was a contributing factor.
Because I don't think that Solo was super bad, but at the end of the day, pulling in audiences is not going to work when you say, hey, do you want a Han Solo prequel?
Yeah.
Because with Rogue One, you show the audiences these big shots of all these iconic locations, like the big Death Star and Darth Vader and all this stuff that they remember. But with Solo, you're trying to do new things with a prequel for a character who's played by a completely different actor now, and and I still think the movie's passable. I think there are really fun parts about it.
Because I don't mind Rogue One.
Yeah,
Rogue One to me is not bad. I think Rogue One has the best Darth Vader fight scene in the entire Star Wars universe. At the very end, when he's wrecking a whole bunch of people. Because otherwise, I didn't realize when they were shot, but he still looks really clunky when he fights sometimes. But no, I think Rogue One was completely fine.
Mm-hmm.
It was what it was. It kind of gave this cool backstory of hey, this is what happened during that time, blah blah blah, whatever. Solo was not needed at all.
It felt
Rogue One was not needed.
Yeah,
but it was all right, cool. That's whatever. It's a Star Wars movie, whatever. Solo was, oh good lord, none of it, all of it, really just kind of ticked me off because it was pointless.
Rogue One filled a space in which there was already interest,
right?
In seeing that, I think that if you polled Star Wars fans or general audience, kind of casual Star Wars fans, Han Solo prequel with a different actor would be towards the bottom of the list that people are asking to see in the Star Wars universe.
And when I first heard about this movie, it's one of those movies that you hear about and you're very weirded out by the idea and you assume that it's not going to happen. Because you hear about these movies all the time where, especially with DC, they greenlight movies all the time and then they just never happen.
Right.
And I assumed when I first heard about Solo that it wasn't going to happen, and then it did happen. And on paper, as movies, I'm just as fine with Rogue One as I am with Han Solo.
Yeah.
But in concept and in the public eye and the public consciousness, Solo is in much worse territory.
Yes.
Because it feels more franchisey. Yeah.
So I think that having him on kind of multiplies our rabbit trail.
Which is fine.
Which is fine.
I love it.
But it multiplies our rabbit trail tendency by 2.
Yes, but I love it. I love rabbits. Let's just say it's all the rabbits. Because we're getting ready to go into another one. Because in 2022, we are getting, let's see here, 4 Disney live-action movies.
Oh,
We're getting 2 Disney Pixar movies, which, hey, bring on Pixar. I love Pixar.
I love Pixar.
And then we're getting a Disney animation, which I have no idea what that really means. So we'll see what that's.
Oh, that's like Frozen.
Yeah, that's because there's
Frozen was Pixar.
No, there's classic Disney animation department, and then there's Pixar stuff.
Which, by the way, Frozen 2 looks super dark, and I'm so excited about it. I want to see them kill someone. And I want to see them use that sword.
I'm fine with the first Frozen. I like Tangled a lot better, but it's good.
Yeah.
I like the first Frozen, but as setup for what it looks like they're going to do and the direction they're going to take with the second Frozen. Dang, I'm invested now because
I want to see them wreck somebody.
The first Frozen was really fun, but the
this
rock.
Go
who cares about the rock trolls? Who cares about But wow, I'm excited now. And also, well, go ahead. I just wanted to point out a comment after you're done.
We usually wait to do the chat until the end.
Oh, okay.
See, I'm sorry you don't really know.
I don't know the traditions. But
I'm a we'll break you in.
Nice.
I like the shot where Elsa, in the beginning, she's trying to run up like the ocean and everything,
Yeah.
and then you got like Kristoff like galloping through like this fall like space, and then you've got like Anna pulling a sword out and everything. Then you've got like Olaf and all of these different shots, like the little snowman.
Yeah, I love it.
And I love the contrast.
Cool.
I love the contrast between the tone and the characters like Olaf from the last movie, because the first movie is like, haha, funny snowman sings about summer. This movie is definitely going to have a lot of jokes and funny moments, just like the first one, but I love that they have these cartoony looking characters in this really like atmospheric, like this autumn-y looking world.
I want to see Olaf stab somebody with his carrot nose. Like, I want to see him jab somebody's eye out with
murder somebody with his carrot nose.
You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of after the first Avengers, which Frozen is obviously not as good as, and then like the Age of Ultron trailers were coming out, and everyone was like, oh, this looks so sick. Hopefully it doesn't turn out like Age of Ultron.
It also reminds me of like how dark Toy Story 3 went, where it was like the toy Holocaust. They were getting. It got to the point in the theater where I was like, I was accepting the fact that they were going to die, and I was going to be fine with it, because I was like, listen, it's been 3 years. Their character arcs are going this way. Just let them die. And then when they got saved, I was like, that got dark really quick, like out of nowhere. But it got dark really, really quick.
Speaking of, do they have Toy Story 4 on that? Isn't that? Yeah, that's this year. That's this year. Yeah, I'm actually, and I don't feel like it's necessary. Obviously,
no,
I feel like Toy Story 3
if they put out a Toy Story movie, I'm seeing it.
Yeah, and it looks really good, and the animation looks mind blowing.
Yes.
There's a shot of, and everybody's been talking about it online, but there's a shot of just like this cat in the trailer for Toy Story 4, and it's like sunlight from a window is hitting this cat. It is just a real cat, and nobody can convince me otherwise. And if you look at the dog from the first Toy Story, that looks like somebody like freaking some second grader cooked it up in Blender.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, obviously it was 1999, but still, it's really cool to see that. And part of me really likes that a Toy Story 4 exists, even though the third one was a perfect cap at the end, because it's so beautiful to see the natural progression of animation with a good story every time. It's like CG's grandfather.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Like James Cameron. With new technology every time.
Yeah.
Coming in with a hit like Avatar.
Coming in with 14D. You stick on 3 glasses, you get a few like buzzing like things that vibrate on your arm, and then you got like
you get the moving
you got
chairs,
like things in your nostrils that do smell-o-vision, and then your entire seat can like do a 360 flip along with the movie. There's no movie, by the way. Like that's the whole experience. That's Avatar 15.
It's about like what the first Avatar movie was like anyway.
That's Avatar like
the first
20,
I can sum up the first Avatar movie really good. It was like a really bad acid trip. That's all it was. It was like a really bad acid trip. All right,
so you have experience.
No, not that. I felt like I was on acid.
Imagine an acid
exactly.
Close your eyes and go back to that one scene from Doctor Strange.
At least that was beautifully shot.
Yeah.
That was at least interesting. This was not.
Oh no, I love that scene from
Ant-Man
Doctor
in the Quantum
Strange.
Realm in the first one.
But that scene from Doctor Strange with no story.
I guess.
I love that scene. What are you talking about?
The Quantum Realm was not as interesting.
The Quantum Realm is... They make it just like some place in the Wasp. In the first one, he's like floating in the void with all this cool stuff, and you feel alone and everything. And the Wasp is just everywhere but nowhere, and she's just like lost in this existential whatever. And then she just like comes walking up, and she's just like, "Yeah, I've just kind of been walking around for like years. I fight things in the Quantum Realm somehow, and somehow I eat." I don't know, man. Now I can just touch people and heal them like Jesus.
She looks like she wandered off on a safari on accident, and they found her like 2 years later.
It reminds me of both this and especially Aquaman, because I just watched How to Train Your Dragon 3 for the first time, last night or 2 nights ago. It was really beautiful, by the way. I love that movie now. But it reminds me of in How to Train Your Dragon 2, Hiccup's mom. Like, she just comes out of nowhere with all the new gear and stuff, and I'm just like, where did you get cloth? It's like Dr. Doom in the Fantastic Stick.
Yes.
Like, where did you find cloth? A. And B, in Aquaman, she's literally on a aisle with dinosaurs with the exact same sort of armor. It's the exact same scene from How to Train Your Dragon 2.
You've just been trapped in this realm beyond comprehension for like 20 years, and it's like...
And you're just like, hey sweetie.
Guys.
Yeah.
I'm fine now, let me save
sweetie.
this girl.
Remember when we played hide and seek? I remember that. Like,
So bad. At least they like redeemed it. We'll get to that.
I would have liked a scared, had to have been rehabilitated Janet more than a magic
Pretty sure that
enlightened
would put you in a
space
mental
Jesus Janet.
I'm pretty sure that would mess with you to where like you would go crazy. You would go insane after seeing that.
Instead of being like
hey, what's up?
enlightened, instead of being ascended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways. In 2023, we get another untitled Disney live-action movie, and then we get the third Avatar movie, which is yay.
It'll be the Lion King 1.5 live action.
Oh, I would want to see... No, I wouldn't want to see.
In 2024, we get a untitled Star Wars movie. 2025, we get Avatar 4. And 2026, we get another untitled Star Wars movie, which will be like the last of the trilogy.
I gotta stop you there with Avatar stuff, because none of it's going to happen.
No.
Avatar 2 is probably going to happen beyond
3 to 5 is not
going to happen.
And well, in 2027, Avatar 5. So.
Wow, proud of you, Avatar. You've come so far. First, you made one movie in 2009, and now you're gonna make like 4 movies. Boom, 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 boom.
We'll get Avatar 5, but it'll be like 50 years from now.
We'll get Avatar 5
like
because
2009.
Because James Cameron's gonna fail with Avatar 2, and then in like 2075, he's gonna be like, "Hey, everybody, I've cooked up 30 more Avatar scripts while I was gone."
Assuming the world survives Avatar 2. That's a big assumption.
Those new Image comic movies, those new Image comic and Dark Horse
Avatar
movies,
2,
screw them.
It's gonna make $4 billion.
After watching Avatar 2, the Avengers like, get this. No, let's snap. Let's just snap it away. Bring out the gauntlet again.
Yeah. Avatar 2 is going to make $10 billion, and I'm calling it right now.
$10 billion?
$10 billion.
Avatar 2.
Yes, it's going to blast open the
Maybe
box
like
office.
cryptocurrency.
It's going to be a giant. It's going to be a giant success, and everybody's going to have Na'vi posters on their walls. I'm telling you right now. I'm going to have a Na'vi cutout. Well, another Na'vi cutout.
Avatar 2 is going to be the biggest money laundering scheme.
Bigger than the mattress stores everywhere.
Really,
yeah,
it's not even a movie.
I fully agree with that.
Yeah, that's what it is.
You just go in there and you hear like recorder music with like Comic Sans text.
Let me ask you this question.
People painted blue.
You have to see it.
I'm gonna make life really hard for you right now. Okay, you ready? If you had to pick, would you rather see all 5 Avatar movies, or be stuck watching the Justice League?
Well, we don't know what the Avatar movies are like.
We can tell what the Avatar movies are going to be like.
Yes, but also...
Justice League, because it's 1/5 of the length of the other option.
And also...
Like, I'd rather watch one feature-length film that I hate.
Oh, no, you have to watch it. You either have to watch all 5 Avatar movies or that movie 5 times.
Oh, Avatar.
Really? Even though Avatar's like 3 hours long?
Yes. No,
I hate Justice League, but not that
much. Look, I would not. I'm not mentally capable enough to make it through that experience, especially if you're saying back to back.
Okay, then we'll.
But Jason, Cyborg said "booyah."
Yes.
Now, if you're judging like 5 Avatar movies
compared to one,
like 3 Justice Leagues,
and
that's tough.
With Avatar,
no, we'll do this. We'll do the 5 Avatar, and then you have to watch Justice League, BVS, and Suicide Squad back to back to back.
Because with Avatar, at least you're getting...
Yeah.
At least you're getting, like... because with the scenario back with the multiple viewings of Justice League, with Avatar, you're probably getting a crappy movie. At least you're getting, A, a crappy movie that doesn't butcher something you love because you're apathetic, and B, a crappy movie that is a different one each time. It's new.
You may find... No, because the Transformer movies were all the exact same thing over and over. It was copy-paste, copy-paste.
Avatar is deep and environmental. Yeah.
Transformers were deep at 1.2, and then good lord, when I realized that Transformers were around for like Merlin and all them. And then when I found out that Transformers were around for like the beginning of time and like everything else, I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever watched in my entire life.
Avatar is like the Lorax, except you're supposed to take it seriously. It's about equally as deep.
Except the Lorax is good.
As the Lorax.
Oh, the Lorax.
The Lorax is intended for children in Avatar.
And it's actually entertaining.
Yeah.
Right.
Avatar's not. Okay, we're done talking about Avatar. I'm sick of it. We're done. I'm burning Avatar. No. All right, so
killing the rabbit on the rabbit trail.
I've already hit Avatar.
You shot the rabbit on the rabbit trail.
We've been recording for not even an hour yet, and we've already hit the Avatar fatigue mark.
Good lord.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
We could talk about Endgame for 4 hours last week, and we can't.
And we still got stuff we got to talk about because there's some stuff we forgot.
Yeah.
Far From Home trailer first or Endgame first?
We'll get there in a minute. We got some other stuff to talk about. We got to talk about the Eternals movie that is scheduled to come out probably next year. Let me pull it up real quick. There are a couple other new developing things that have popped up. Richard Madden, who is from Game of Thrones and other interesting stuff, is reported to be in the... I'm sorry, I did lie to you guys. He is reported to have been casted as Icarus. I think I butchered that name.
Icarus.
Thank you, Icarus.
Yeah.
He's expected to play Icarus. So
okay.
I can see that.
See, and even as somebody who likes Marvel Comics, I'm not going to say I'm the, God tier fan, I've read everything. I'm not. But even as somebody who does like Marvel Comics, nobody is going to be like, oh my gosh, the Eternals weren't adapted faithfully.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite. Not to say that the Eternals are bad, but they're just not as popular. So I'm interested to see whatever take they do. I mean, I would say the only characters that are famous enough for people to get upset over would be probably Hercules, and maybe, because the Eternals deal heavily with the Celestials, maybe the Celestials. The only characters, I would be really interested in whatever they do once I see it, I see what they're going for, but the only characters that I'm interested in without knowing anything about the movie yet are seeing the Celestials again. They're less characters, more like forces and just big CGI effects, but that one shot that we saw in the first Guardians of the Celestial with the staff just going boom,
well, they're even name dropped again in Endgame.
Yeah.
Done with the Soul Stone, which that would be dope to see them.
And I mean, the Eternals, as a concept, are just beings that were experimented on by Celestials, and they were essentially the runner-up to... They are the reason that humans have so many exceptional powers. They're basically the reasoning behind a lot of the hyper-intelligence, like Tony Stark, and a lot of the powers that happen in the Heroes Age. So we're definitely going to see Celestials, at least... I mean, they're the base concept for Eternals, so I would be very surprised if we didn't. So I'm just interested to see how they portray them, and I really like the little tiny glimpse that we got in Guardians, because they look just like full-size, just like...
They look like they did in comics.
Yeah, they look really like cool. The kind of towering deities that we see. And I really like that area of Marvel. They were going to do, reportedly, the Living Tribunal for a scene in Endgame. Yeah. I really wanted to see that. I want to venture more into Celestials, Living Tribunal, and the Watchers. Yeah. Because they had that one shot in Guardians Volume 2. I just like that whole kind of area. Once they start doing stuff with Silver Surfer, at some point they'll probably explore that more. And the Fantastic Four, because they're very tied into that. So.
Yeah. Definitely.
The things that I'm asking for kind of from the Eternals movie, since I'm only mildly familiar with them, would be a new branch of the MCU, something that feels totally different, like Guardians. Yeah. Something with large cosmic scale. And then a really interesting take on Jack Kirby visuals. Because with Doctor Strange, pretty solid movie, not the most engaging origin story ever, but the visuals are what people talk about with that movie, and that's what I'd want to see out of Eternals. Yeah. And I'd really want them to go full Jack Kirby era and try to follow that style.
They went with a lot of psychedelic visuals in Doctor Strange, and they went with the Dark Dimension and stuff, and the Dark Dimension was great, and I absolutely love all the visual things they did with Doctor Strange, but now they have an opportunity to explore more of the techie and sci-fi, and also the space and kind of ethereal stuff that he did. And I would, again, love for them to play with characters that are just massive in scope, massive in size, hard for the human mind to even comprehend. That those kind of crazy giant characters, both physically and non-physically, that Jack Kirby created, because just seeing those, the booming voices and the whatever on screen, and just the slow movement and everything, I think would be breathtaking, visually, and also just really, really cool to see adapted.
Yeah, I think I'm excited for this movie because, especially after like everything else we've seen from like post Avengers Endgame and with the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer, they're going into some crazy stuff. Like they're going in a direction I didn't even expect them to go into, which I'm fine with. I love it
because they know that after the craziness of the snap and everything, they really need to do something big to capture audience attention after this hype.
This is the most important time period for the MCU of where if they handle things right, which they've proven that they can, but if they handle things right, they can keep the attention of the casual fan.
Yeah.
Whereas if they which I think it's a smart idea to have Spider-Man come right after Endgame. Because Spider-Man is a character that everybody knows, everybody loves, everybody's going to go see the Spider-Man
And
movie.
this version of Spider-Man is somebody that they have so effectively, within a very short amount of time, compared to other MCU characters, connected with the audience with. I would say that, like, him, along with Steve, Star-Lord, and Tony, have been, like, the core characters that people connect with, but Steve and Tony have been around since near the beginning, and Star-Lord's been around since 2014. Spider-Man's got much less time to shine, but his version of the character is just so well beloved.
It's intriguing. Plus, it's Spider-Man. Like, everybody's going to... If you throw Spider-Man in the title, people are going to go see it. So I think it's very smart that they did this, but then, like, right after this, they're going to hit us with Black Widow, which everybody's going to see because... especially after what happened in Endgame. But then they're going to like, all right, 2 normal movies, here's the Eternals. Like, let's throw this to the wall, see if it sticks. And if it's anything, like if it gets received anyway, like the same way that the Guardians got received, then they're going to be fine. Like they're going to be really fine.
They're going to be riding high
especially
for a long
with the
time.
casting that they're doing. Like Angelina Jolie is a massive get for this movie. Even Madden's like a nice little get for this movie. So like I think Marvel right now is like throwing things at the wall, seeing if they're going to stick. I just really, 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 really at some point want to get a freaking Sentry movie. Like I've been asking for a Sentry movie for a long time. I just want to see Sentry so bad.
Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer is my movie that I'm waiting for.
Fantastic Four is what I'm banking on, and it's going to be a while. It's going to be before X-Men, but it's still going to be a while. They have been treated even worse than X-Men, which is hard to grasp.
X-Men have had a couple good movies.
Yeah,
Fantastic
Four haven't had really any like exceptional movies or any that adapt the characters well, and they need to, at least in my mind, A, focus on the fact that they're like a family and explorers and adventurers first, heroes second, and B, don't do Doom first. Like, focus on the heroes first and then do Doom later. Like, because Doom is great.
Bring Mole Man in.
Yeah, bring Mole Man in. Bring a more secondary, less emotionally complex. I'm not talking about like power wise, but less complex villain. Like Mole Man would work if they want to go bombastic for the first movie. Right. Maybe just like tone down Annihilus a bit and put him in. Like any character like that would work that doesn't take too much development. Don't make him a Malekith, but anything Ronin level and above, I'll be fine with.
Yeah,
like, and then
don't start with like your heavy hitter first.
No,
because like Spider-Man did that. Like Spider-Man was like, we're not doing Osborn first. Like we're not throwing him in.
Yeah,
we're gonna do.
They took time to introduce the hero. Vulture,
and everybody like Vulture is. I know he's like one of your favorite villains, if not your favorite. And like they started off with like a super simple villain, but it worked because they're trying to make Spider-Man right now kind of at least in that one, like I don't want to say a simple hero, but he's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. In this 15. Movie, you're 15. Like you're not gonna be like Captain America
flying
level.
To space
exactly.
Thanos, for example.
Not yet.
Yeah.
You gotta turn 16 to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
then you get your Space Warlord pass.
I love the power scaling there, where it's like, okay, first he's in this dust up at an airport with a bunch of heroes who don't want to kill him. Then he fights the Vulture. Then he flies to space.
Which, by the way, he almost wrecked an entire cruise ship fighting Vulture, so he couldn't even handle that very well.
And then flies to space, fights Thanos directly, and dies.
Yeah.
And now he's back to fighting Mysterio, and it's like...
But I mean, the thing is, that sort of stuff happens in comic books all the time, because you think of how many times Spider-Man in the books and whatnot has fought, like, Thanos and fought all these big villains like Kang and stuff like that, and then he goes back and, like... the most recent Amazing Spider-Man run that I've been off and on reading, he's like fighting the Lizard, like and that's great. But he's also fought these big people. I mean, introduce Doom in the second movie because then we already know our heroes. Just give them a little bit of development and focus on Doom.
I wouldn't even necessarily introduce Doom with the Fantastic Four. necessarily. Like, introduce him just to the MCU as a whole. Like,
Put
him in an end credit scene for the Fantastic Four
He's
movie.
a very important character to
everyone. Yeah. Especially if you're doing Secret Wars. Like, you don't have to throw in Doom with just the Fantastic Four. Like, he put him at the end credit scene of the Fantastic Four movie because people, like, if you see Doctor Doom at the end of a Fantastic Four movie, everybody's going to freak out.
And stand up and clap. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then, like, he can be introduced anywhere else after that.
Yeah.
Like, anywhere else after that, and I think it'll work really well.
I would love for him to kind of be like a Loki, to where he's introduced in Thor, and then he's like a big villain, but then maybe he sticks around after that. Or he's like primarily Fantastic Four.
That's my one gripe I have with, not one, but like, and it's not even that big of a gripe, because like, it's whatever. But we've talked about this since Infinity War of like, are they going to kill Thanos? Like, just because they're a major villain, you don't have to kill them off.
Yeah.
You don't have, like, I get it. Thanos completely messed up, and I told you this last week, I thought he was going to live until he made the line of, I'm going to rip your planet apart and I'm going to enjoy it. And when he said that, I was like, you're dead. Like, there's no way you can make that statement and live.
And the issue is that he's so immensely powerful that he can hold off Tony and Cap and Thor at the same time.
Yeah.
Three of the most powerful people. You know, he wrecks the Hulk. He can hold off Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
He's just too powerful to keep around.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Unless they throw him in, like, the Cancerverse. Just throw him in there for a little bit and then bring him back.
Yeah.
Which, technically, with this whole multiverse thing, they could just bring him back from a different universe and make it work.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's why I think Secret Wars 2015 would be a really interesting way to go.
Yeah.
If you're judging between like which Secret Wars to use, 1980 or 2015, I think if they adapted 2015, you could do so many cool things with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That would be so awesome, and that's such a great run.
Definitely.
So. And the Russos on that would be unbelievable.
I'm so happy they're like I want them to come, like, they're going to come back at some point because they, you know, that's just who they are. But I'm very excited for that.
I feel like Doctor Doom could stick around in like so many other things that he could be a background player for.
He could be one of those that just like, if you ever needed a villain to like just show up and like mess with like the Avengers, whoever, like you can just throw Doctor Doom out there and
he could be their next Hydra. In a sense, but as like one character.
Very interesting.
Yeah, like Doombot's just everywhere, you know, because Hydra shows up in literally like every Phase 1 and 2 movie. Like
Hydra's
they're just everywhere. Yeah.
That's the one thing. How the heck did S.H.I.E.L.D. not find anything about Hydra until...
Because they made it... In Endgame, they made it more cartoonishly obvious that they were Hydra. Yes. Like, also my friends call me secretary. Why would he say that? That's my one line that I hate in Endgame. He's just like, hi, I'm Alexander Pierce. My friends call me secretary. What?
It's also funny, kind of in retrospect, because like Hydra are just so cartoonishly incompetent, even in the MCU.
Yes.
That it's like, how did they stay hidden from S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Which means that S.H.I.E.L.D. is that dumb.
And
like,
me,
if Hydra was that dumb, S.H.I.E.L.D. is even dumb.
And for me,
is also very
when you use Hydra,
oh yeah,
yeah. For me, when you use Hydra that much, just like they have in the comics, you kind of have to make them that kind of level of funnily incompetent,
right?
You know, and it helps keep them entertaining. And that's part of what's so endearing. For me, in the comic scene, those like green Hydra agents with like the yellow goggles and everything, and they always like sneak into things, but you don't know how because they're all so stupid, and that's part of why I love them. It's like the stormtroopers sort of deal. But I think with Endgame, we started reaching a level of kind of that for Hydra,
like even like,
and I really find that appealing. But it's also really
when
funny.
We found like I realized that Hydra was dumb. In Endgame, when Ant-Man was like, you guys really didn't know that these guys were bad guys? Like, they look like bad guys.
Yeah.
Right. And all that Cap has to say is, Hail Hydra. And then
there's like,
one of the most powerful
there you go.
objects in the entire universe. They're just like, there you go.
Yeah.
And it's great. And it's
funny.
One of the, like,
I find
references.
I find it, like, and I think that, you know, if you wanted to put it down, like, lore-wise and whatnot, then yeah, it's kind of dumb. But honestly, I feel like we're reaching that kind of level of endearing that I really like in the Hydra from the comic books and the lore like that. I really liked it. I really like them kind of playing off Hydra. That's what they do with Stormtroopers in Star Wars, and I very much enjoy it. They can make them a threat when they want to, like this traitor, but like they can make them a threat when they really want to, but they can also just have a lot of fun with them, and I feel like that malleability is good.
Yeah,
that's part of why I loved the opening fight in Age of Ultron. Was because Hydra was just like kind of peak Hydra, where they're like really goofy and dumb.
Because he was like he was like, never surrender, and then he turns like, I'm going to surrender.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, and then they go off and they like kill him, and they show this like very, very bloody shot of like, and I was just like, that dude was a cartoon character a few minutes ago. What?
Yeah.
So,
you guys have probably already talked Age of Ultron to death. So
we
not really, actually.
No,
That's
we
one
haven't.
that we don't talk about a whole lot.
We kind of try to avoid it.
That could be a fun episode, I think. Because
Just
in a sense, I'm really
it.
kind of an Age of Ultron apologist, to where I can defend things about it for quite a while.
Right.
So that would,
I am somewhat,
that'd be
not
a
as
fun
much as
episode.
I'm a Last Jedi apologist, and you know this, but
Right.
No, like at least Age of Ultron's like fine until Natasha and Bruce like start hitting on each other.
There are a
and then
lot
it's
of
just
fantastic things in Age of Ultron that no other Avengers movie does.
Right.
And that's the same for every Avengers movie, but still, I mean...
But
Age
there's
of
less of
Ultron-
them in Age of Ultron, but it doesn't make the ones they have less fantastic.
Right.
I think Age of Ultron might have like one of the Hulk's best fights with the Hulkbuster.
Yes.
Like that fight is absolutely amazing.
And even though Hawkeye gets a lot of focus and development in
that's
Endgame, even though Hawkeye gets a lot of focus and development in Endgame, his character in Age of Ultron and the fun moments that he gets, the lighthearted moments, I feel like will never be done again with that character. And
I still every freaking time I hear the city is falling, and I have arrows.
Yeah.
None of this makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't, but we love it.
That speech is funny.
Right.
And
it's
inspiring at the same time.
Exactly.
And he goes out there, and then he does the whole, like, Quicksilver's running away, and he's just like, nobody would know. Nobody would know. I love Hawkeye in that movie. And the character development between the core cast of Avengers in the party scene and the opening fight scene is very, very fun because you see them just being a team, being together. They have a dynamic. You still don't understand why Falcon and War Machine aren't on it, but like you see them.
Well, War Machine showed up.
Like, the Avengers,
he showed up at the end, but then Vision just like won up.
Especially like why is Falcon on it? He says like avenging is your world's crazy, but then by the end of the movie,
because you have to have one back
the world's
to like
less crazy.
You have to have one at least to guard the base. For when Ant-Man
shows up.
You just gotta chill. Like,
exactly.
Just
so, like, the world is ending over here, but
but
he can stop Ant-Man.
Well, now you're really.
Well, not try to stop Ant-Man.
And I gotta say about Ultron, it's the only movie where the Avengers are together for the entire movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, the only one.
And
and I think that Whedon is so good at group dynamics. So good. You wouldn't know it from Justice League, obviously, but between Avengers and Age of Ultron, the group dynamics in that are
amazing.
insane.
Not the romance,
and I don't think even well, not the romance, of course, but I don't think even the Russos, can really touch the not like the fighting dynamics or things like that, but like the interpersonal chemistry that Whedon had in the first two Avengers movies.
He took the 6 original Avengers and he interwoven all of the different relationships between them. Mm-hmm. Well, like the Russo brothers, but they have like they don't have just like 6 Avengers they're dealing with. They have like 150 something people they're dealing with. Yeah. But like Whedon was like, at least in Age of Ultron, some way somehow each Avenger kind of got a moment.
Yeah.
Like you have like Tony throughout the entire movie, he gets a moment. Hawkeye throughout the entire movie gets a moment. The Hulk and Hulkbuster fight, that's a really cool moment for the Hulk. The opening fight scene is basically hit for Cap. That's right. Yeah. And then Thor is just kind of there.
Yeah, Thor's not very good. Maybe.
Yeah, Thor's little subplot about going in a pool and screaming is really weird. But I love another thing about Age of Ultron.
The sequel.
Another thing about Age of Ultron, and that was the era where it was peak. Hey, we're setting up the next movie now. Yeah. Hey, look, this is for the next movie.
Ultron was just connected.
The thing is, Endgame can do that without doing that. Right. Like, same with more. They're much better at kind of sliding it under during the movie and then just doing it during the after credit scenes.
Yeah.
But, another thing about Age of Ultron that I love is the implication that the Avengers have done much more in between the first movie and now, and then Age of Ultron and Civil War. They have been doing missions. Right. This is regular stuff for them. They are an established team. Hawkeye says he's the heart of the team, which means they do a lot. Like, this is a regular thing for them. Yeah. The team kind of switches out. Thor goes to Asgard sometimes. Stuff like that happens. But the fact that they are an established team with a tower, with all this base of operations, and they have multiple missions, it makes it feel like a much more... Just those little lines of dialogue in Ultron make the whole team of the Avengers as a name in universe feel much more like concrete and real. Like when random civilians are talking about the Avengers, you can believe because of Age of Ultron that they do a lot of other things other than just the times the world is ending.
Yeah, definitely.
So. The opening scene where they're fighting Hydra, it's like Tony is back with them, and it's like, you thought Iron Man 3 was kind of a conclusive end for him, even though you know it wasn't. And it's like that jump between Iron Man 3 and Age of Ultron was like really weird to me at first. And I was like, I don't think I really like that Tony's just back with him.
Right.
And now in retrospect, I'm like, that's awesome. Like, I love that they just like got the team back together and we're just starting immediately on this mission, this awesome mission.
Yeah.
And just the kind of stuff that I like to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's just the 6 of them.
Yeah. And it
really
worked. Like, it worked.
We're really
well.
skirting around the negatives for this movie, aren't we?
We are. No, I mean, we're definitely doing that right now.
Yeah.
I mean, we just
it's kind of telling when the best version of your villain is the one where he's limping up and he's going, "Hey guys,"
yeah, because like,
and then after that he just gets worse.
Honest, like Ultron towards the end of the movie just kind of trailed off a little bit. Like when he's flying the Quinjet. It's just like, this is, what are we doing now? Why are you flying a Quinjet?
And he goes, I have no
You can fly and shoot things from like your arms. You're fine. You don't need a Quinjet.
Yeah, at that point, the city falling is the villain.
Yeah.
Like, and Ultron, our villain, becomes not the villain anymore. He's just in a random jet shooting things, and then he just happens to shoot.
It's like, oh no, he's gonna kill Hawkeye. Like that was the last really like threatening thing we saw from Ultron, and then just the Hulk wrecks him and Wanda wrecks him, and then Vision just like shoots him out of existence.
Quickly.
And it's like, well, we dealt with that pretty easily.
That was not.
Vision's just like
not an age. That was
Vision's just like
okay. Time out. Why call it Age of Ultron if it was like a day and a half? They should call it like a day and a half with Ultron. Like, that's about it.
Remember in the trailer when it was I have no strings,
you know,
and Thor came up and he grabbed Tony's neck, and like you see the robots crawling out. I can only imagine being in the trailer house, being like, oh god, oh god. Okay, so all of the farm scenes are just gone. We're not touching those. What do we put in? Let's put in some creepy stuff. Let's make Ultron creepy.
Which is better than what Ant-Man and the Wasp did, because Ant-Man and the Wasp let's just throw all of our action into the movie and then not show anything else. And it's
exactly.
At least there was a lot of stuff in Age of Ultron we didn't see in the trailer.
True.
Right. While Ant-Man and the Wasp, it was like, here's the entire movie. Yeah. You have to sit through it. Just get to the end credit scene, then it'll make sense.
They had Ultron built up as like kind of like a creepy, like scary villain. When in the movie, he's just like, well, you need to make.
It was creepy at
first.
You
need to make eggs. You need to. Yeah, he was creepy at first. That's why that was his best scene. But he's just like, you need to break eggs to make an omelet. Have no strings, so I have fun. Like he just does all this dumb stuff.
Hey, sorry, I chopped your arm.
Yeah, he was like, it just makes me so mad. I was like, wait, what? When did you become the Hulk? Like, just chill out. Just take it.
Yeah, and then Scarlet Witch looks at his mind, and she's just like, it's a deranged mind. And I can only imagine, like, in his mind is, like, Seinfeld running or something like that.
That would make you go crazy, though.
Yeah. Just he's a robot, so he remembers every scene from Seinfeld. He has access to all the internet, and he just watches Seinfeld on repeat.
That would suck.
No, it's
to have
access. Seinfeld, it's young Sheldon. And he's deranged.
That's where he got his comedy from. Oh, I have no strings, so I have fun.
That's so bad. So bad. All right, so now that we've derailed.
Now that we're talking about whatever, let's talk about young Sheldon, you know?
Yeah, let's bring that up. So we have a couple things left we're going to talk about real quick. Real quick. We're going to be here for a little bit talking about this. We'll talk about Endgame first. And then we'll jump into Spider-Man Far From Home. So we kind of gave our quick thoughts on... Well, not quick. Long thoughts. 3 hours and 50 minutes, I think, was the audio version.
Yes.
But we gave our thoughts on Avengers Endgame. What were your thoughts? Give us just kind of, without going into... Because we'll go into some other stuff here in a minute.
Yeah.
Just kind of your overarching view of Avengers Endgame.
Well, I mean, I saw it 5 times, so I thought it was good. That's for sure. Okay, I don't know if I like it more than Infinity War or not. It's been back and forth for me. And people say that you don't like feel that the movie is long. And it didn't the first time, but after watching it a few times...
After the first time, though, the first hour of the movie, like, I don't remember it being this long.
Yeah.
I don't remember it.
You do feel it being long after the first time that you watch it. It's just that the shock of that final act really erases a lot of that for you, or at least it did for me. And the final act, oh boy. Final act of that movie is glorious, and it's some of the best cinema that I've ever seen in my entire life. I feel like... Well, let's put it this way. I don't feel like anything in this movie is particularly bad in any way at all. But if you were to pick a spot to go get a hot dog or use the bathroom, it would definitely be the scenes where Nebula is captured on Thanos' ship and she's talking with Nebula 2 and Gamora. Or at least in my opinion, and I still love this scene, I still think it's great, and it's great for Tony's character development, but it's definitely the same part of the movie where it kind of like starts dragging a little bit, not noticeably a bit, but like, and not like to the detriment of the movie as a whole, but it's very noticeable that like the third act hasn't picked up yet when Tony's talking to Howard too. But I feel like the first act is really, 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 really good. It kind of sets up that tone that all of us wanted after Infinity War. Like, everybody wanted to actually see the world. Everybody wanted to actually feel the impact. And people were complaining about, like, oh, the Far From Home trailer came out. Now we know that there's no impact to these movies. And, like, anybody would have guessed that Spider-Man's coming back. Duh, he's Spider-Man. Yeah. So, as long as I feel the impact on the world, I don't really mind that the Far From Home trailer came out, you know.
Right, and there's obviously impact from Endgame. I mean, it's not a story about Spider-Man, it's a story about the Avengers.
Yeah, and I felt satisfied with what I saw.
Right.
Especially for me, my favorite scene in that entire thing was the scene with the peanut butter and jelly sandwich that Black Widow is making.
Oh, yeah.
And when she's crying and Steve comes in and they have that very real conversation, I absolutely love that, and it really made not just Steve but especially Black Widow feel so impacted and so much more real in that sense. I loved...
This might be her best movie.
Yeah.
Even considering just even how long she's in it. Winter Soldier is a really close competition, and she was great in the first Avengers too.
Yeah, first Avengers was what I was about to say.
Yeah. She's great in both of those, but I think that this one hits home the characterization of the character.
And even just in that one scene. Like, that one scene alone really made me feel for the place that she's in here, because she literally doesn't have anything. You know, Hawkeye has a family. Tony has piles of money.
And most of Tony's friends are still, other than Spider-Man, like Pepper and Rhodey, they're still around.
Yeah. And Captain America has gone out and made new friends, and also he has Bucky back, you know, and Sharon, I guess.
Now she's dead.
Sharon, wait, was she snapped?
She was snapped.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, if you look in the like when they're all together, and like right as soon as Tony gets back, if you look off in the corner of like people who got snapped away, you can see Sharon Carter's face right there.
But I mean, I'm also talking about people that were snapped, because I'm not just talking about like during the time of the snap, like because I mentioned Bucky and Sam, but he has people, you know. Yeah. But even before the snap, Black Widow has never had somebody outside of the Avengers. Her greatest friend has always been Hawkeye. And then she grows really close with Steve, and also the first person that she meets outside of Hawkeye is Tony. Right. And those are her three core members that she... Oh, well, Hulk too. Yeah. Sure, whatever, Hulk. But those 3.5 core members are like really tying her to this team. And like that's actually her family. And this really actually makes you sit back down and like consider that and think about it. So... I love that.
Yeah. One of the things, like, and we talked about this last week, but like one of the things that I absolutely love, especially about this scene, is like, especially going back to like the first Avengers, but even Age of Ultron and then Infinity War. Yeah. Is like Black Widow has always been the one to always follow through. Like always follow through with the mission. So like she was sent to go get Bruce in the first Avengers movie. Yeah. She was always wanting to be a part of the Avengers. She was always wanting the team to get together. She was always the one that was keeping everybody together in Age of Ultron at times.
And wasn't she also there during the scene that Nick Fury explained the Avengers Initiative to Tony back in Iron Man 2?
Yeah. And then, like, in Civil War, she kind of played both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah, because she cared so much about
people on
everybody. Either side.
And then in Infinity War, she was always there to fight. And then in this one, what I really love is, like, she is still so loyal to everybody. And even after, like, half the universe is gone, half of her friends are gone, Tony and Steve are still not friends. Like, they're friends, but they're acquaintances now. They're not really friends. Bruce is off doing his own thing. Thor is gone. Nobody's talked to Thor in forever. And it's just her. And she says, like, she feels like she has to keep the mantle of the Avengers going. Because if she doesn't, one, nobody's going to do it. But then two, she's going to have to realize, like, she's lost everything. And she's completely empty.
And thinking back to... Oh.
She's kind of assumed the role of Nick Fury, too.
Yeah, which is awesome.
She's talking to everybody through different holograms and everything and kind of, like, managing all these
She's like, everything that happens comes through me now. Yeah. Like, I'm in charge now.
And just thinking back to Iron Man 2, and I didn't really think about it in this way, but the Avengers is kind of her baby. You know? Because... I mean, Nick came up with the idea, but, I mean, it took him a long time to push it. And looking back at those scenes from Iron Man 2 with the context of Avengers Endgame and the things happening before Avengers Endgame as well, Natasha was the first Avenger to really push for this team.
Yeah.
So it is her baby, and you can really tell that in that scene in Avengers Endgame, which I love. And she's the person who always puts everything on the line, and because of what happens to Hawkeye, he becomes a person who always puts everything on the line. So them being both on Vormir was interesting. So, yeah, first act of the movie, I absolutely love. And of course, it was the simple route to go, it was the obvious route to go, but it was a great route to go to give... Morgan to Tony and to give him a family and a good life, and everything really adds to his story of kind of grief and loss at the end of the day. And I absolutely love what they had done with Tony there, because they give him the chance to, like was said in the first Avengers, lay it all down on the line. Are you going to be the man to walk out on the wire, lay it all down on the line? They give him the chance to do that with high stakes and high risk. Giving a satisfying yet like sad and kind of incomplete, not in a bad way, but like his ambitions and goals were incomplete, which is a good thing for him. An incomplete ending for him, and then they give Cap the ending that he fought for and deserved, and I love it. Both endings were great for both those characters. Thor was fun. People were complaining about Thor. I don't know why. Thor was great.
Fat Four.
Oh yeah, there's a third person. I know we're not supposed to talk about comments, but hi, my name's Jaron. How's it going? This guy's younger brother. Yeah, Fat Thor. Yeah, I am Jason too. I'm the sequel, or as Alvin and the Chipmunks would say, the squeakquel. Yeah. If we bring Jordan on the podcast, then he would be. Would it be the Road Chip or Chipwrecked? Which one is the third? Okay.
Chipwrecked and then Road Chip.
Thank you for filling me in on the Alvin and the Chipmunks lore.
It's sad that I know that.
Anyway,
I have nephews.
Back on track.
That's what I'm
let's see. Of course, the portal scene. That scene made me cry so much over the 5 times that I saw the movie.
Yeah.
Made me cry. Oh, so much. It's so good. And I saw this, and you can do this with so many Avengers movies because the character arcs are very, very consistent. But you can tie in things from past movies to make things more tragic, more impactful, more whatever. And when you think back on that scene from Spider-Man Homecoming, where Tony's reaching over for the door, and he says, "Oh, we're not there yet," and that whole joke. And then as soon as Tony sees Spider-Man, he just grabs him. I absolutely love that. And I love the direction that they're going with Spider-Man living in Iron Man's shadow. It's a very... Now, this adaptation of Spider-Man, some people have complained that he's very different than he is in the comics. Spider-Man can be changed so much and still be Spider-Man.
Right.
That at the end of the day, Spider-Man is about, first of all, responsibility, and second of all, an element of grief.
Yeah.
And they are doing that so well with the way that Tony Stark plays a mentor role. And he's not even an exact mirror for Uncle Ben. He ties in so many common themes, though, from Spider-Man, that he ties in themes from Uncle Ben, from Captain Stacy dying, from a lot of things, a lot of Spider-Man's mentors and teachers over the years. So I love that.
I will say, I've seen the movie 4 times.
Yeah.
And every freaking time, and I don't know why, but every freaking time that they drop that Cap says Avengers Assemble,
yeah,
I still get chills every single time because it's
beautiful.
Every single theater I've been in, like especially the way like the score goes of like it really builds it up and all of a sudden it just gets stone cold quiet. And every single time, like everybody like is super quiet in my theater when he says Assemble. It's just like everything that we've been wanting for forever, for 11 years, in 2 words. That everybody's been anticipating this moment, and when we finally get it,
yeah,
it's everything. Like,
the Russells will give us what Joss will not.
Yeah,
essentially.
Yeah,
and Joss is just like Avengers.
But I'm really happy that they held that off for this long.
Oh, and they did it. They did it for a moment that,
which I'm happy they held. Camera. Okay, let me see. All right, it's picking up a little bit. I'll just do this thing. Now's my opportunity. Ask them if they can hear us very well.
I can hear us.
Hey, can you guys hear us? Say in the chat.
It's not live audio though.
It's from the Mevo. We're doing it straight from the camera. Oh, come on. There we go.
I'm hearing what happened a few seconds ago.
And now the iPad's about to die. That's great. Oh. Let's crank it up, see what happens. Okay.
You're in the ghost. Sounds past.
I think we're back. I think we are back.
Hey, chat. Are we back?
All right. Well, everything went south real quick. But I think we're back. I think we're good. The audio may just sound a little jacked up. Yeah, I'll fix that in a second.
Oh, okay, nice. I'm hearing you guys all, is that from over there? Oh.
No, it's from my headphones.
Oh, okay.
Is that from your headphones?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I hear it? That's why, because I didn't mute it. Ha! Everything just went south real quick. Holy cow.
Da, da, da.
Hey! Alright, so I'm going to just kind of pick this back up for the audio listeners. We'll make this work some way, somehow.
So, still just my quick thoughts on Endgame, or?
We'll just move on, because I don't
Move
remember
on?
anything we were talking about. So
Nice.
Alright.
Nice.
Jaren liked Avengers Endgame.
Yes,
In
I
short.
did. Saw it 5 times. Good flick.
Good flick. Alright.
We're not still talking into the mic, right?
No, we are, because for the audio
Oh.
audio listeners, yeah.
Okie doke.
Alright, we're back. Thank you guys. We had a little technical difficulty while we were live streaming, so if the audio kind of sounds weird for the audio listeners, we are sorry, but things happen. Third person messed it up. We'll just blame him.
Yeah. Your camera and
it was
stuff
not my
couldn't
fault.
handle the third
I am
person.
innocent. I am not a crook. We kind of got his thoughts on Avengers Endgame. We'll talk about the trailer, Far From Home trailer, and then kind of talk about the tie-ins for everything else. We're not going to go into like full depth like we normally do with trailers, but we're just going to kind of give the main thing to take away from the trailer, if we're going to be real honest, is what the Snap has done. Because the Snap has done a lot of things, which I think the Snap has actually done more than what they're telling us, but I'll get to that in a minute. The Snap apparently has ripped a hole, and I forget how Fury put it. Basically, there are multiple universes.
Mm-hmm.
There's a multiverse now. Mysterio is from Earth 833. I think that's what I said. I think that's what he said. And then the Earth that we're used to is Earth 616, which is basically the same Earth that they use in the comics. It's 616. Every story they tell is on Earth 616 for the most part. So that's kind of the storyline they're going with. So now there are different dimensions. There's a multiverse now, which I absolutely love. I think that's such a smart idea to go in this direction, this route.
Now, we gotta say, we have to mention that the person who is giving all of this information
Right.
is Mysterio,
Right.
who is, one of his core personality traits is that he lies and creates illusions.
No.
So we just gotta throw that out there. I think it's very, very likely I think it's very, very likely that there is a multiverse, but it might not be exactly the way he says it is.
Right.
Or and I would tend to
believe,
I think 100% yes, there is a multiverse. But I also think that he may lie about... Well, obviously he's going to lie about the role he plays because he's Mysterio. He's definitely going to end up the villain. But I'm thinking also he may A, lie about his powers. Maybe his powers are real, maybe they're illusions. Or B, maybe lying about elements of his reality beyond just him being a hero or a villain. Like what his reality is really like.
Right.
But I am very interested for Mysterio. He's always been my favorite Spider-Man villain, and this seems like a new take. I don't know if I'll like him as much as classic Mysterio, but what I see so far is very interesting.
I'm so happy that they're doing the fishbowl.
Yes.
And
you can't do Mysterio
so
without the fishbowl.
Cool.
You
like,
can't.
It looks so cool.
Yeah.
That was very, like, that's the one, like, you can't do Mysterio without the fishbowl, but would it fit with the MCU? And the way they did it, it fits. Like, it works.
It 100%
awesome.
fits.
I love it.
And I think that they've tried to do Mysterio without the fishbowl a lot of times in comics and adaptations and stuff. They had him like a head that's covered in smoke and flame and stuff, and it never works because Mysterio, there's an element of goofiness to his character that comes with the fishbowl that can't be missed. Once you take that away, it feels much more like he's trying to be cool, and that's not Mysterio. So that's part of what makes him so endearing. And I can't wait for it.
I just love how they're making.
Fishbowl, honestly.
I just love how they're making S.H.I.E.L.D. look even dumber in this movie. Of like, hey, we're just going to trust the guy from another universe to be on our side. I'm excited. Unless there's backstory to it, which there might be, but still.
I'm excited that Maria Hill is in this movie because Colby Smulders is an amazing actress, and Maria Hill is a very important character. And I would be fine if they didn't flesh her out. I'll be fine with just her presence. I mean, that's cool. But like, if they do decide to flesh her out or make her a bigger part of the MCU going forward, I would be more than happy because I think they chose a great actress for a great character. Yeah. And she's been around for so long that people know who she is. So
she's been in like 4 movies, but she really hasn't done a whole lot.
Like the most she's done was in the first Avengers movie?
Yes. Yeah, because she like tried to chase after Loki and then she like helped when Hawkeye and his mind-controlled goons.
Yeah. And then in Age of Ultron, she just was like working for Tony, but then secretly she was working for Nick Fury the whole time. And,
yeah. He's fast and she's weird.
Yeah, good one.
What a classic line.
No, but I am very interested that she's in it. I love the fact though that everybody thought that Nick Fury was going to be like the mentor role in this film. It looks like Mysterio might be that for a little bit, which I think is really, really cool. I love that,
and I love first. A mentor that is pure and good comes into his life and then he dies. Right. And then he gets a mentor that he learns another completely separate lesson from about trust.
Right.
Because he trusted Stark from the outset and that turned out well for him, you know? But now he's presented with another situation like that and doing that with this character is, again, another common theme for Spider-Man.
Right.
And again, something that really, really works for him.
Yeah.
Right. And the lesson in Homecoming was really about responsibility.
Yeah.
And that was his first big lesson, and then this one would definitely be about trust. Not only because Nick Fury's a big part of it, not only because Mysterio's a big part of it, but also because Chameleon is rumored as a secondary villain to be in this movie, and that would be another
people were saying maybe
upset.
Nick is Chameleon in disguise. Maybe that's why he gets him working with... Yeah, maybe not for the whole time, but maybe that's why he gets him working with Mysterio of all people. But a lesson about trust, I think, is good because it plays into so many characters in the Spider-Man lore. I mean, like we've already said, Mysterio and Chameleon are big ones about trust, not trusting what you see, not trusting who you know.
Right.
But the biggest, most famous arc in all of Spider-Man has always been about the Osborns, and that's all about trust and setting up this story and then, like, maybe doing the Osborns, you know... I feel like would be very interesting. And also Spider-Man going into the Osborn saga already jaded by Mysterio and jaded by possibly Chameleon would be another element to a new take. Because we've seen these characters twice before in the first Spider-Man and also the Amazing Spider-Man movies. We kind of saw them in the Amazing Spider-Man. But doing them in a new way is what Homecoming and Far From Home are about.
Right.
So going into the Osborn saga, potentially, we don't know if they're doing it, but if rumors are to be believed, going into the Osborn saga with already that element of like distrust would be really,
really interesting.
Yeah, it would add a lot to his character as it is, which is really, really cool. Which I think it's a no-brainer they're going to go Osborn at some point.
Yeah.
Which you kind of have to at this point with them. But like I really think that this movie is going to handle a lot of. I think the first part of this movie is going to handle how Peter is dealing with Tony's death, which is I absolutely love, because it's not like it's like with Rhodey or Pepper of like, yeah, they lost a loved one, and yeah, they like Pepper lost her husband, Rhodey lost his best friend for a long time. But Peter's still in high school. He's dealing with this. His mentor that was helping him with everything is now gone. He sees them everywhere now because there are vigils everywhere. Like how would you handle it? How would you deal with it
as a kid,
especially? Which it helps. So like I like the fact that Aunt May knows the secret.
Yeah,
because that kind of helps a little bit. But still,
Aunt
it's
May
like
is such a great figure in his life. And I mean, War Machine and Pepper were crying when they saw the hologram, but when they walked out for the funeral, they weren't. But Peter was still freshly out of tears. Yeah, he's a kid, and I feel like that's really important. And also, these movies, these more street level movies, like Spider-Man: Far From Home, and I'm hoping Shang-Chi, even though that might be set during the era of the snap, but they're going to deal with, especially Far From Home, going to deal with character dynamics changing after that 5-year gap. And I feel like that's going to be a huge part of this first part of the movie, along with the grief. Right. But I'm really excited for Far From Home because I loved Homecoming, and it looks like it's more of the fun character dynamics with from Homecoming, but with added weight. Yeah. And with higher budget, better shot action scenes. Not that the action scenes from Homecoming were bad, but they can definitely be improved upon. Yeah. And I still expect a giant level of comedy, because I feel like this movie, especially just like the first one, is going to be first and foremost a comedy, which I love that these are kind of just high school comedy movies with large elements of superhero fiction in them. Yeah. But another interesting thing is I really like that MJ knows already. That's really good. I feel like that ties into the type of character that they built up for her. Like, yeah, she would figure that out. Yeah. Like, duh. Which would make sense of like Spider-Man's always there to save us, and then when we're overseas, like he's here to help us again. Yeah. Right. A fun little quirk of Spider-Man. A fun little quirk of Spider-Man, and this happens over large periods of years in a lot of other adaptations, but it's happening fairly quickly with this one, which I like, is him trying to keep all his eggs in a basket on terms of people not figuring out his identity, but he just can't. He just like, oh no, now Ned knows, now Aunt May knows, now MJ knows, now Nick Fury knows, and Tony, everybody knows. And I love that. That's always really fun to see him do. I just want more fun Ned and Peter scenes too. Yeah. Just more classmate scenes. Flash. I want to see Ned meet like Nick Fury. Like I want to see that. Yeah, I feel like that'd be really fun to see that. Flash looks like he's going to be fun in this movie because he's even more hardcore Spider-Man fan after the events of Infinity War. Yeah, I'm so happy that Happy Hogan's in this movie too. Oh, I think that's a really good touch. I love that he's becoming a Spider-Man related character. Yeah, you know. And I love that he is a full-fledged character, because he was one in Homecoming, and it only makes sense to flesh him out more in Far From Home. Yeah. The more happy, the better. He really deserves it. He's great. So, since it looks like we're going, obviously the reports are that the next couple phases for the MCU is going to go more cosmic than anything else. Do you think that this is kind of what they meant by cosmic, was more multiverse travel, or do you think it was like, we're going cosmic, we're also going to do this crazy stuff on the side? I think that there's going to be, at least in my mind, a larger separation between cosmic and street level. And Spider-Man still has some like multiverse cosmic elements in it, but for the most part, it is more street level. Right. So they're going to have the crazy cosmic, like Eternals and Captain Marvel 2 eventually, and like all the other stuff in space. And then they're going to have like Spider-Man, Black Widow, Shang-Chi. I'm really interested, especially for Shang-Chi, because if they go a certain direction with it, it'll essentially become a lot of the Marvel Knights Defenders tone, but in the movies. Yeah, you know. So. Which we tried to do a list of like Shang-Chi villains, and I didn't know any of them. I don't know anything about the character Shang-Chi, but I'm still very excited to see just because what they're going to do with him. Potential tone. Yeah, exactly.
So, with all that being said, do you have...
Oh, no.
About, like, cosmic multiverse?
No, I agree.
I feel like this brings in, and some people online are just like, oh, they could bring in the Fox characters. They're not going to bring in the Fox characters.
Please
No. But I
don't
feel
want
like this brings
to be honest, I don't want to see Hugh Jackman in the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
At least, like, he can do a cameo, but I don't want to see him as Wolverine.
Yeah, neither do I.
But I do feel bad for whoever gets cast as Wolverine first, because people are going to hate it for a long time until they actually prove it.
Yeah. I think that this brings in... The multiverse brings in a great way to, years down the line, not only introduce characters like potentially Miles Morales and Spider-Gwen and stuff like that, but also do movies that start off on a fresh slate that still have potential to be crossed over with the rest of their pre-established universe. Do movies that don't have to have the sequel tease and don't have to have whatever. Be more experimental, be more whatever, but you can still have it tie in, and you can still have it come back into what we know.
Right, definitely.
So.
Plus, I feel like this is kind of like not a cheap way, but like, hey, we're not doing well, so we're going to bring back this version of Captain America and this version of Iron Man. They're back. Which, I mean, I think at some point we're going to see
Captain
Steve
America.
Rogers is going to come back at some point.
Yeah. Probably not
If we're getting
Iron
Kang,
Man.
if we're getting Kang and time shenanigans, then we're gonna see.
I feel like introducing Iron Man again
Yeah.
would kind of devalue his character arc, but with Steve, I could totally see
Steve
a
can just
heroic
pop back
comeback.
anytime,
He can
anywhere.
come back in. He can be like slightly older. He's just gonna be like, "Hey, I just like had dinner with Peggy, but I thought I'd like pop by and this time because you guys you need help here. Got my shield. Got my Thor hammer. You know,
Which
so,
I
got Mjolnir.
when that actually happens, everybody's going to freak out. Like, it's going to be one of the biggest things in the
like a suit just pops up out of nowhere.
Yes.
A suit just pops up out of nowhere, and the helmet goes back, and it's Steve, and everybody freaks out.
Yeah.
There's like, who's in there? It's got to be him. It's got to be him.
Or
Steve.
or a portal just opens up and he walks through like in and
exactly.
On your left.
That would be cool. That would actually be like a callback to a callback to a callback, but it would still work.
That would be funny. It would just be the longest and most like.
It would be such a
It would be
Deadpool.
running
It would be
chain.
such a Deadpool callback of like this is a fourth wall break. What was it? A fourth wall break inside of a fourth wall break? That's like 16 walls. Like that's dope. So I was not. I don't want to say I was not, but like I was. I mean, it's a Spider-Man movie. I was excited for it, but now seeing where they're going with it even more, I am totally invested in this movie. This has become my most anticipated movie from here on out.
I was just going to say that
for
it's my most
2019.
anticipated 2019 movie
because it has so many implications of where they're going to go from here. Of like I know Iron Man 3 Endgame is still a part of. Like I know Endgame is supposed to be kind of like the closing chapter to Phase 3, and I know Far From Home is like the last movie in Phase 3, but I feel like it's kind of like the beginning of Phase 4. Like it's starting
in the same way that Ant-Man was kind of a tease of what was to come with the more colorful, more experimental Phase 3.
Exactly, and so I feel like this is going to open up doors of like, hey, this is what we're getting for like the next 2 phases. Just buckle in and be ready, because I think we're going to go crazy. I think after Black Widow, we're going to go like 100 miles an hour super quick, and we're going to stay that way for a long time.
Because if we're being frank, we went from a superhero action movie about a guy who builds a suit to Thanos and gods and monsters and Spider-Man riding a Pegasus, picking up the Infinity Gauntlet, having Captain America throw Mjolnir and him webbing onto we have gone insane already. They know that there's an audience for this now, and they know that there's an audience for the craziest, most comic booky things that they can do. They have a talking duck. They have a talking raccoon.
Right.
They have everything, and it's still grounded in it. It's still like you care. You really care about this talking raccoon. You know.
Right.
So they have full license to do whatever they want.
It's not like with, and I hate the comparison of DC and Marvel. Yeah. But it's like there is a level now of trust with MCU of like, if you want to try this crazy thing, we're going to go see it because you haven't really burned us yet.
Because you came out with Guardians and it was great.
Right.
And you tried Ant-Man and it totally worked, and you tried Black Panther
right.
and it totally worked.
You tried Doctor Strange and it worked. Like,
we know you can do insane Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame level, like tons of characters on the screen, and we care about all of them. So really, I mean, they have so much public credibility at this point, where it's like Captain Marvel, not everyone was super hot on that movie, but people were willing to kind of like look past it and be like, you know, we're still kind of excited for her in Endgame, even with like, you know, all of the negative publicity. It still made $1 billion. It's like, you know, people are willing to give the MCU a little bit of wiggle room and a little bit of grace that like no other franchise.
And that's what they need to tell a good story, because now that they have that wiggle room and that level of grace for that Marvel name, they can do just crazy things. And
I could actually make a bad movie.
They could.
And I feel like...
well, they're going to, but...
And some people online would be like, oh, it's the end of the MCU, but it wouldn't be. People would still sit down in theaters. And I feel like...
they need a lot of, like, bad traction.
They would have to do, like... And I know Age of Ultron is bad, but they would have to do, like, an extremely bad...
They would have to do a Justice League level, and at this point I feel like that's impossible.
Right, but I think, like, they're going to have to, like... It would have to be, like, Age of Ultron, but, like... all the good stuff completely taken out of it.
I mean, heck, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
And still, I think it would be good. Like, I still think it would be like, yeah, but the next movie is going to be good. Like, the next movie is going to be just as important to see.
Ant-Man and the Wasp came out, and that wasn't great. That was, like, worse than Captain Marvel and worse.
But it still had implications for Endgame.
Yes.
Like, the end credit scene was, like... The end credit scene was the best part of the entire movie.
Yeah. Which is sad.
But they used Ant-Man and the Wasp as, like, one of the key points, if not the key point in Endgame. Of, like, hey... time travel. Here we go with the quantum realm. Like, this is going to work now. They can do that. But you have to go see this movie to understand what's going on, and it works because people did it.
And the fact that Infinity War and Endgame are more events than movies at this point, and people still love them and care about them. Because if you went down and sat down for this movie without seeing anything beforehand, you'd be like, that was kind of entertaining, but I don't get it. I don't understand the story structure. These are events. These are crazy. Like, and
I think it's honestly at the point now where Star Wars was, and it still is, but like, if it has Star Wars in the name, people are going to go see it.
Yeah.
Like, people are going to go see it. If it has MCU canon, Marvel in the name, people are going to go see it.
Unless it's Inhumans. I mean, unless it's...
Right, but it's not, like, that's not like...
In the movies, people are going to go see it. Like I said, a lot of people, and I don't hate this movie at all, it's just not as great. A lot of people watched Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Ant-Man and the Wasp made more than Justice League, if I'm not wrong about that, but it still made ballpark around the same.
Because Justice League failed as a movie. It just flopped. So Ant-Man and the Wasp definitely made more.
It's supposed to be the tentpole film for that entire franchise.
Oh yeah.
Ant-Man and the Wasp,
which is not. They fight Ghost and Sunny. Like...
Right.
Well, then again, in Justice League, they fight Steppenwolf, which isn't really high stakes either.
No, Steppenwolf is crap.
Yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp made $622 million worldwide.
It's a lot more than I thought it did.
Justice League, I want to say, was 640 something or 660 something. But I mean, still, it's close.
657.
657. Yeah. So Justice League barely made more, but still, the fact that that's even like a...
But you got Batman, Superman, Aquaman, Venom, Wonder Woman.
Venom made more money.
Venom made way more than both. Yeah.
Venom made more money than Wonder Woman.
Adrenaline, momentum, Venom.
Yeah, because they tricked a lot of people into thinking it was an MCU
Venom
movie.
versus...
Hey, it's a Marvel movie. Come see it. Wait, where's Spider-Man? Yeah,
Marvel logo.
Yeah, and that worked out really well for him. Good lord.
They got... I feel like there's a whole brand now of... Fox was kind of doing this... but there's a whole license out now for trying to be a Marvel movie and tricking people into the theaters because you have the licenses to the characters.
Yeah.
Look at literally everything Sony is doing other than Spider-Verse and Spider-Man. Because they got Venom, they got Morbius coming up, they got Black Cat and Silver Sable, or maybe they're separate. They are basically doing a slightly more okay, because it's just not as important, version of what they were going to do with the Amazing franchise.
Yeah.
Before, and I don't know if you know the full extent of what they were going to do with the Amazing franchise.
They were going Sinister Six.
They were going to... there's a lot. I mean, yes, they were doing that. Yeah. But they had greenlit 5 trilogies, and then a ton of solo movies, and they were eyeing people like, oh god, they were eyeing basically list any popular actors at all ever, and the people at Sony would go like, yeah, I'll consider him for that role. They were legitimately eyeing Jonah Hill and Matthew McConaughey at the same time for the role of Sandman. Jonah Hill.
Matthew McConaughey would be
okay.
Terrible. He would be terrible.
More okay than Jonah Hill.
He'd be better than Jonah freaking Hill playing Sandman. Good lord.
I mean, by comparison, Matthew McConaughey would be like winning an Oscar for the role of Sandman.
Yeah.
But it's still an awful choice.
That was an awesome choice.
Oh.
The reason they made Venom was because Channing Tatum emailed Amy Pascal and said, "Hey, I'd like to make a movie where I play Venom."
Yeah.
And then she replied with like all caps and a ton of exclamation points because this is the Sony leaked emails. She replied, "Yes, that's awesome. Okay, I'll greenlight it right now. Whatever." And then by the time it had gone through development and everything, the Amazing series had been canceled. Whatever, they got Tom Hardy instead, but it's still the same brainchild. That's crazy to me.
So we can blame Channing Tatum for Venom.
Yes, we can blame Channing Tatum for like a lot of.
That's why Marvel's like, we're not doing Gambit. We are not doing.
Do you remember? Okay, so quick comparison here. In Spider-Man: Homecoming, you've got Vulture. You've got Tease at the Tinkerer, kind of, because they have him in the movie as a character, but they don't really call him the Tinkerer on screen. You've got the Shocker set up naturally within the story as a villain. You've got hints at the Prowler, and also hints at Miles. You've got an after-credit scene that has Scorpion, and he's also in the movie as a goon, right? Yep. These are all part of the story. Amazing Spider-Man 2, man walks down a hallway, Vulture wings, Doc Ock legs and stuff. You got the freaking whatever else they had in those.
Didn't they have like
I think they had a symbiote.
Was it Hydro Man or something like that?
They had something weird.
It was.
They had some other Spidey villain stuff in there.
Yeah, it was like,
but it was all
this
mechanical.
Is coming up next time. And it's like, no.
It was all mechanical, and I know that in the MCU it also was mechanical too. Like Doc Ock's arms are always going to be mechanical. Vulture's wings, you can't do the actual wings, but it was all like the same shade of like gray and everything. And that's what I think about when I think of Amazing Spider-Man 2. Same shade of gray and Jamie Foxx's teeth coming together when he becomes Electro.
In that movie.
And the difference is that the MCU is setting up characters, and the Amazing Spider-Man is setting up props.
Right, and even in a way, like the Amazing Spider-Man was setting up a movie. Like I know that the MCU is doing the same thing, but they're not focused on the movie aspect. They're focused on the entire character arc of, like they built to Endgame in the very first Avengers movie.
And
like,
everything
in every single Avengers movie, not even Avengers, but like every single MCU movie after that has been to set up this massive movie at the end. Yeah. Like we get the Thanos cameo in Guardians. We get to see all this stuff take place, and then Endgame's like, yeah, but here's how the scepter got to Hydra, which I always wondered, like, how the heck did they get that? Oh, that makes sense now. Like that it works, it makes sense. It's not just something thrown together, like that would make sense because nobody at the time knew that Hydra was inside of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah. And then it was like, how did we get to here? How did this happen? How did that happen? Here's the back behind the scenes stuff. Yeah. I love the fact that we got to see the original Ant-Man helmet. Yeah. Like that was absolutely amazing. Which Michael Douglas, with his hair and everything else, was killing me in that movie, but I loved every second of it. Yeah. But like I love that they took the time to map everything out, which is what we've said. If things like DC are going to work, if Sony wants to try their Venomverse or whatever, you can't just like throw things out and see if they stick. You have to make a plan and then stick with your plan as best as possible.
And what happened with the Sony movies, especially, is, well, first of all, with some exceptions, like a lot of stuff that happened in Ultron and Dark World and such, a lot of the teasing for the next movie has been either after credit scenes only or naturally woven into the story. Like Thanos and Guardians makes sense because it's so important for both Nebula and Gamora as people, and Ronan too. Right. But with some exceptions, that's how it works, But with Amazing Spider-Man, they made I want to say mid-tier, but in my heart, I also want to say very low tier Spider-Man movie. Because it's an okay movie.
I just think they used the death of Gwen Stacy. I hate that they went that comic. But it's like, could we have done it better?
But in between the release of Spider-Man 1 and the planning of Spider-Man 2, they greenlit just everything. Because Spider-Man 1 was marginally successful, so let's make a whole universe. To hell with it, whatever. So, and in Amazing Spider-Man 2, you don't have a movie anymore.
Right.
What you have is 2.5 hours, or maybe just 2 hours, of setup for everything else.
Right.
And like one fight scene with dubstep in the background. And that's it. Like, that's all you got. And it's because their ambitions, they flew too close to the sun. Their ambitions got too high, and they didn't... Sony thought at the time, and it's very apparent when you actually like see the emails that all this was talked about in. They think recognizable character, release movie, profit.
Yeah.
And that doesn't really work out for them, and it really proves that just like with Marvel, in comparison to DC, and especially in comparison to the even worse than DC by miles, Sony, before the whole whatever, you have to put heart, you have to put care, you have to put passion to these movies, because yes, stuff like Venom and Justice League and BVS will still sometimes make money, but after a long period of time sitting on it, you'll make less and less money, because you have to make people genuinely care. You have to put effort.
Avatar.
This fits perfect with Avatar.
Avatar touches my heartstrings. And they made me care. James Cameron put so much effort into crafting the character of that one blue guy. And the blue girl.
Jake Sully.
How do you know that?
Because I remembered it.
Jake Sully. I
really Jake Sully?
Yes.
I guess.
Yeah, and the girl, Zoe Saldana, is Neytiri, I think.
Hey, chat, is his name Jake Sully? Oh, you're switching it up.
Yeah, hey Google.
Avatar.
Hey Google. I really got invested in the characters of Military Man and Blue Guy and Blue Girl so much. I can't wait to see where maybe Blue Guy and Blue Girl will go to another Avatar planet. I can't wait for that one. I can't wait for Avatar.
Yeah, it's like Lord of the Rings meets...
Neytiri,
yeah, that's what I said.
I can't wait
Jake
for...
Sully is his name.
Jake Sully.
I can't wait for Avatar 2 and the Chamber of Secrets. I'm really excited.
Yeah. Good. Cannot wait for Avatar 2 Reloaded.
Avatar 3, Return of the Avatar.
The Avatar. The Avatar Strikes Back.
Yeah, the Avatar Strikes Back. I was going forward, Return of the King, but we're steering it to Star Wars now, which I like.
Right, it's like Lord of the Rings.
Or you could go the Banjo-Kazooie route, and you could do Avatar 3E. Avatar 2E.
It's riveting.
Age of Avatar.
Yeah, I love it.
I have no tree. I have no tree. They like burn the big tree. It's like, I have no tree to hold me. I have no roots.
Avatar University.
Yeah. Avatar University, where they go back to where they met in their college days.
Good. Well, that's
back on
so bad. So bad.
And everybody points this out all the time. I'm sure that everybody listening already knows, but I'm going to say it anyway because whatever. In the first Monsters Inc., they're talking about how they knew each other in like 4th grade.
Yeah.
And then in Monsters University, they're just like, oh, here's the story of them meeting in college.
College for Monsters, it starts in 4th grade. You didn't know that?
I mean, I guess I'm not a monster, so I wouldn't know.
You gotta get up on your monster
You don't
education.
know anything about Avatar. You don't know anything about Monsters Inc. I don't even know why we brought you
Jason,
honestly.
I just wanted to learn more.
He's probably got a better track record
about Avatar from an expert like you.
Have you seen? You've seen Harry Potter, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I've never seen
Harry Potter.
I've never seen any of the Harry Potter movies. And
You're both
excommunicated. What you meant to say was, I've never read any of the Harry Potter books.
I've never read or watched any of the Harry Potter. And
the movies are,
to be honest,
either really good or like okay.
I have no desire to. but I get crapped on by
it's
everybody.
It's one of those things that like I would still recommend you see it just for the huge cultural context that it has. But you're not, and you're still gonna like it, and you're still gonna be emotionally invested. But you're not going to. It's not going to be the same way it is for you as it is with anybody who grew up with it. Right. It's like one of those things of there's always one person in every classroom. God, it always annoys me. Like, that's just like, I haven't seen Star Wars. I haven't ever seen any of the Star Wars. And I'm just like, makes sense. That's fine.
Well, I didn't see
and I always say...
Like 4 years ago, so...
What?
I didn't watch Star Wars like the first 4 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. My brother-in-law was like, "You've never seen Star Wars? Hey, let's watch all of them in like 2 days." So we watched all of them in 2 days. I was like, "Why have I never seen this before?"
Yeah. But there's always those like people who are just like, "I've never seen Star Wars," and the same advice goes like, I mean, I would still recommend you watch it because of the huge cultural context, but it's not going to be the same. And I get it if it's not the same for you. Right. That makes sense.
But most of the time, people like if they are that way, they're like, "Oh yeah, the prequels are much better than the original." I was like,
don't get me
on
that
I'm not
train.
that way. I watched it 4 years ago,
but
the prequels sucked. I hated the prequels.
Don't get me on that train. Oh no.
But yeah, it was it's.
Prequels bad. Prequels big bad. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I think that's going to do it for this week episode. We've gone for like 2 hours and 10 minutes, so we've been going for a little while.
We got some technical difficulties in there, so action and excitement.
Exactly. We had it all in this episode. But we will be back next week, probably to discuss Detective Pikachu. Since it's coming out this weekend, we're gonna review Detective Pikachu this week.
When you guys were saying Spider-Man Far From Home is your most anticipated movie, it probably still is for me because Spider-Man's like my favorite character ever, but also just the fact that there's a Pokemon movie on big screens and it looks good. I think they're probably about tied for me because that looks great.
You're not excited about the Sonic movie? Did you hear what they're doing with Sonic?
They're redesigning.
They're redesigning. Listen, okay, here's what I'm going to say about the Sonic movie. The trailer looked like crap. It really looked like crap. It looked bad.
Yeah.
But there is no reason that it got that much hate. Like, there's no reason why it got that. Because, like, you can't... If you judged everything based off the trailers, then BVS should have been the best movie of all time.
Yeah.
So, I get it. The trailer looked like crap. My expectations have dropped drastically from watching it. But I'm not going to, like, crap all over it yet.
Well...
Yet. After I watch it, then I may crap all over it.
I feel like, at least in my view... I mean, people say never judge a book by its cover.
Right.
But that's the point of a cover.
Right.
And... if the trailer looks bad, it's fair to crap on the trailer. Now, if the movie turns out good and it turns public opinion, that's great. Right. But I think that the trailer being bad is enough for people to have that sort of visceral reaction. And I feel like it's more of their visceral reaction to the trailer, which deserves it.
I just know how toxic, like, movie fans can be.
Oh, yes.
Sure.
I mean, like, let's be honest, Star Wars probably has the most toxic fans in the entire universe.
I'm a Star Wars fan. I hate Star Wars fans.
Exactly. Like, Marvel fans are getting to that point.
Oh, yeah.
DC, you're still out there because your movie sucks, so you don't have fans.
Well, the fans they do have are fairly rabid
and
because they have been neglected.
Exactly, and they just want to crap on everything else that comes out unless it's
Zack
DC.
Snyder is
Marvel's for kids.
The best one I saw was that Avengers Endgame. The Russo brothers did it as a tribute to Zack Snyder. I was like, bull crap! If they did that, then screw them, because that is not. Yes, they did. They showed it was a tribute to Zack Snyder of he makes terrible movies and we make good movies. Like, look at the difference between the two. Anyways,
Zack Snyder really isn't even a part of the conversation anymore, and like trying to force him into the conversation is just so
people are livid. People are livid because the DC Twitter, get this, the DC Twitter wished Gal Gadot a happy birthday because her birthday was like 2 weeks ago. Zack Snyder's was 3 weeks ago, and they didn't say jack squat. And every time you look at the comments, all it said was #release the Snyder Cut. It's like, it's been like 10 years.
That's toxic.
Nobody cares about the Snyder Cut. $10 says the Snyder Cut's even worse than the actual movie we got.
Oh, yeah.
Like, don't even look at it.
That's really toxic, too, because Snyder's not even involved anymore after Justice League.
No.
And people built so much, and to be honest, Batman v Superman cinematography, its lighting is very Snyder-esque, and it actually looks really good. Snyder is good at certain things, but the DC fans who have stayed so close to Snyder and his artistic vision and everything, and have clung on to that so much, now that Snyder's gone, they still want to cling on to that for the reason for liking DC, and it doesn't make sense anymore.
Right.
You know, other than screaming about release the Snyder Cut, which is awful, you have clung on to Zack Snyder as your idea of what's good about DC so much that you just like DC for no reason now.
Right.
Like, and now there are legitimate reasons to like DC because Shazam is out. Shazam is good. Shazam is really good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I gotta cut off the Snyder tangent. I gotta cut it off right here because we can't go on a Snyder tangent.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure we could do a whole episode on a Snyder tangent.
One of our first episodes was a DC.
What was it?
Where we were just trying to
introducing
our DC opinions.
What did we call it? We called it the. It was very like DC sucks.
The Zackathon.
Let me see here. I can look it up real quick.
Zack Attack. That's a good
one. It was called. What is going on with DC and their movies?
Yeah, that was a classic episode.
Yeah, it was almost as good as the title as the Star Wars Saga Dead. That got a lot of views just from that title. Anyways, I think that really is going to do it for this week's episode. We're gonna call it here. Next week we're doing our Detective Pikachu breakdown. We're going to look at it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to do everything with it. And then probably after that, which don't rule it out, there'll probably be more in-game talk next week as well.
Yeah.
Is Detective Pikachu the first good video game movie? I got your title right there. I already got it.
Did you watch Assassin's Creed?
No.
Some people like the Silent Hill movie too.
It was. I'll say this about Assassin's Creed: for what it wasn't bad. It wasn't good. No, it wasn't good. But it was. I went in thinking this was going to be like the worst movie I've ever seen in my life, and I was like, oh, it's not the worst, but it's not. You know, it's. I'll say this: my expectations were so low that it impressed me a little bit, just a little bit. So
like Venom.
Yeah, like Venom.
So it wasn't good.
It wasn't good, but it wasn't the worst thing in the world either.
Gotcha.
So, but we're very excited to talk about that next week. We're very excited that we are finally with our new brand with the Dorks Next Door. This is the man that made the logo, so hit him up for it. Tell him thank you for it because it looks absolutely amazing. We love it. I'm still getting used to it because I got to tweet something out. I'm like, wait, that's not. Oh yeah, it is us. It's different now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looks awesome though. So we're very excited about that. We've got some other things coming down the pipeline pretty soon. We've got some other stuff we're going to start working on here very soon. I'm almost out of school for the semester, so that means once I'm out, we'll be working on some more stuff, throwing some more stuff out, more content, things like that. You can follow our channel on Twitter at Dorks Next Door. Take out the E from next. You can follow me on Twitter at I'm Andy York. Make sure that if you're listening to this on iTunes or Google Play or SoundCloud, that you leave a like, a rate, a review, 5 stars, everything else. Make sure you share it with other people. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you hit the notification bell. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss out on a video. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, everything else. Just do all of it. Hit it all up. Go look at our MCU character breakdowns that we did for most of the Avengers. We have some other ones we're actually going to start working on pretty soon. Maybe we may do some more characters. I mean, when their movie comes out, depending on who the movie is. We'll see about that. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this week's episode. We really appreciate you guys listening and joining and talking with us in the chat. And we'll catch you guys next week.